Welcome back to the Sydney Cricket Ground, and both teams lining up for the playing of the national anthem. And we welcome viewers through ADS Channel 7 in Adelaide to the telecast. Please stand by. Just repeating the information from Sydney out of the Swan side this afternoon. Tony Morwood, Barry Round, their captain, and Paul Morwood. And they have been replaced by Ian Roberts and Shane Morwood. And one other one, Bob. Who was the third that came back into the side?
Stephen Allen.
Stephen Allen, number 14. That's right. He'll be starting in the ruck.
Well, it certainly evens the game out now as far as St Kilda is concerned, because before this match, the Swans are outright favourites by a mile, but it's brought them right back to the field with those three players out, Robert.
Yes, but it is, as I repeat myself, it is the opportunity for those players that are out there to show the supporters that they are not so reliant on Barry Round as it has looked in the past. And we see Barry Round obviously very disappointed, but it does give Barry a good chance to see his teammates from over the fence and have a look and maybe see some of the mistakes. But we have commented a few times that in the games where Barry Round has been out of the game, it wasn't until he went into the ruck and took over on a couple of occasions here, and in previous games when Round fires, South do seem to to come right into it. But they do have the opportunity, and Stephen Allender in particular has the opportunity, along with Stephen Torbett, to show that they can do it without Barry Round.
Often you see a young player like Allender get his chance, and of course they really succeed. It's in the balls in Allender's court at the moment to make amends or make up for the loss of Barry Round. So it's a big challenge.
Weather in Sydney today is cool and overcast. I do believe it is raining in Melbourne, as it was in Adelaide last night. So we've probably got the best of the weather here in the three capital cities here this afternoon.
Well, St Kilda have already made a couple of changes. Doug Booth is going to open in that first ruck against Stephen Allender. Michael Blease and Jeff Dunn on the interchange bench.
All right, well, that's a couple of surprises as swung by Alex Jeselenko. And players taking up their positions in preparation for the first quarter. You can probably see some sunshine. It's not too bright, and we do expect it to cloud over during the afternoon. Umpire Jeff Morrow coming in to bounce the ball to start proceedings at the SCG between the Swans and the Saints. It's knocked down by Doug Booth. Getting grabbed very high around the neck was Scott for the Swans, and he'll put them into attack in the first quarter. Scott to half forward. Roberts in front. Has a knocked away from him. Pass for Sheeny, picked up by Elphinston. He's gone for a hand pass and taken by Bennett. Bennett's kick back towards the centre wing area. Barry Breen playing game number 299 for St Kilda. And it looks as though he'll bring up the magical 300 next week. Scott a little bit too slow. Didn't read the play at all well. Has a shot at goal. Has he made amends? One behind. The opening score of the match coming up to the Saints at the 1 minute mark of the first quarter.
By golly, he had a chance that time, Scott, but wasn't with the game at all, Peter.
No, I don't know whether he thought he heard a whistle, though. He seemed to stop in mid-stride there and was obviously told by his teammates to keep going, which he did, and converted only a point. Allender in front, can't take the mark. Knocked further forward by Colin Hounsell. He'll be very keen to do well today, Hounsell, but he has given away a free kick. Umpire Dargable ruling it going to St Kilda. Burns will take the free kick at right half forward. Knocked away from Scott. Mace has the chance. So too does Hewitt. It could be a free kick going to the Swans, and it will be taken by Danaher at centre half back.
Danaher to take that free kick at centre half back. No score as yet. Ball back to centre field. In front is Booth. Oh, there's a good mark taken there by the big fella Torbett, who did so well last week. There it is in replay. A great mark by Torbett. The ball shot out towards the Swans half forward line. Tapped to the ground, spinning out of the pack that time was little Keel. Got upended. The umpire said that Keel was grabbed too high, and Keel will take the free kick for St Kilda at centre half back. Straight down the ground is the order by the St Kilda coach, Alec Jezelenko. A chance now for Mace to break clear. Long kick up there looking for Scott. Scott's got the chance here, got his hands but couldn't hold the mark. Barry Breen playing game number 299, couldn't bend down well enough to pick it up. Finally it comes out to Breen now, a hand pass coming back there to Barker. Barker back there towards the full forward position, and a good mark in defence by Danaher. Danaher down there in the back pocket position for the Swans, right across the face of goals. And a mark taken by Smith, who's having a great trot at the moment for the Swans. Over to Allender, back to Ackley, out there on that half-back flank position. Now there's a chance for the Swans to go direct into attack. Out it goes now to little right, a short pass, a good one, and a mark taken here by Shane Ward. He's hooked the ball back to Evans, but right intercepted that one. Down Keel, good plays. He tries to get a hand pass back. Another one coming out there to Cunningham, clear. A long one back to Burns. And Burns is in a bit of trouble with a hand pass. Coming back now's a chance for Hewitt to break clear. Hewitt at centre field. Let's go right down there towards Scott. Big punch out by Carter. Back to Breen. Having a bit of trouble bending down at the moment. And Ackley takes it away from the danger zone.
And Ackley's also had a very good season. Number 38 is Scott. He won't get there first. That could be a push in the back. Umpire Dargable, though, elects to let play go. Cunningham getting grabbed too high this time. Holding the ball, says the umpire. And it will be a free kick to be taken for the Swans, it looks like, by Colin Hounsell. Hounsell, right half-back flank. One of the more experienced members in the Swan side, but has been in and out of their lineup this year. Allender in front. Got too far underneath the ball and couldn't take the mark. Driven forward by Thomas for St Kilda. Waiting at the back was Ian Roberts and Browning. Got one too high and ridden into the ground by Trevor Barker. And a couple of players come in to remonstrate with the offender. It will be a free kick, I would reckon, to the Swans, if in fact he can take it.
Once again, another head-eye tackle, Bob, and you can understand the reason why David Park and the Carlton coach is going mad about this sort of a tackle.
Yes, it's not good for football, Luke.
Ball driven up towards the Saints half-forward line, or the Swans half-forward line, and the kick going to Torbett. Former Essendon player, torpedo punt kick. Almost into the goal square. Fiddler takes it away from John Roberts. He's gone for a short pass, and the mark taken by Odgers. Odgers gets clear of Rhys-Jones, who's playing in the forward pocket at the moment. Mark taken by Cunningham to Keel. Keel at centre wing. Looks for Duper-Ruzel behind the pack, can't take the mark. Now he's got a chance. Duper knocks it further forward. Big Scott's there. Has a shot at goal from 10 metres out and has brought up first goal of the match.
St Kilda 1 goal, 7 points, and the Swans yet to score. The ball back there to Hewitt again. Hooks it back out towards that half-forward flank. A chance for Mace. Oh, good play on the part of Mace. Gets it over to Little Mean. He streaks away. Nearly grabbed by the foot, but fires at the goals. But Mean is off target, and it's through for another point. So the Swans, the Saints move on to 1 goal, 8 points, to the Swans yet to score. Just on 5.5 minutes gone of the first quarter. The ball's dropped short and a mark taken there by Ian Roberts. Roberts, a late inclusion in the side with Allender and also the other player, Bob, just trying to...
Shane Morwood.
Shane Morwood. Of course, the two Morwoods and Barry Round are out of the Swans team as Hewitt gets a push in the back. And, of course, the umpire spots that immediately, and the free kick will go there to Hewitt at centre field. Hewitt's kick is over that centre half-forward position. Browning in front. Oh, great mark there to Barker. But he had the set on him, no doubt about that one. And Barker's got a chance to put the Saints... There it is in replay.
Yes, beautiful judgment by Barker.
Well, right now, Barker's only about 35 metres out from goal directly in front. And a chance to put St Kilda's second goal on the board. And that's what he's done. So it's St Kilda at the moment, 2 goals, 2-14. And the Swans not faring too well without Barry Round at the moment.
Well, I don't think it would matter whether Barry Round was out there or not at the moment, because all over the ground, St Kilda showing far more enthusiasm and more teamwork. And they upped some of their changes. Keel is going on and off the ball with Bernie Evans. Elphinston is going everywhere that Dennis Carroll goes. So St Kilda have put quite a bit of planning into this game.
6.5 minutes have gone in the first quarter. 14 points the difference in favour of the Saints. Thomas going through very solidly, loses it ultimately to right, picked up by Burns. Hurried handball, effective nevertheless to Keel, who is on centre wing. A short pass from him, and that is a mark to Mace, is it not? Or a free kick? No, says umpire Dargable. It will be a ball up to take place at right half forward for the Saints, about 45 metres out from their goal. Knocked down to Hounsell. Ian Roberts, well tackled by Barker. Hewitt, off the side of the boot. Out of bounds on the full. A free kick will be going to the Swans, and the recipient would be, I guess, Rod Carter.
Hewitt and Keel are making their presence felt in this first 7 or 8 minutes, Peter, too.
Keel's been very impressive, hasn't he?
So has Hewitt.
He's been impressive right throughout the year, Keel.
Carter brings it round the Brawongle stand wing. Getting up very high was Booth. Couldn't complete the mark. The hand pass is flicked out to Burns. Out of bounds. It was touched off the boot, says the boundary umpire. And that will necessitate a throw-in. Still at right half forward for St Kilda, doing all the attacking so far in the first quarter. Allender with Booth. Won by Booth. And another head-high tackle. A free kick going to the Swans. It will be taken by Scott. Scott is at left half back. That's a beautiful kick. Rhys-Jones behind the pack, takes it beautifully, gets it away from Middle Miss. He's gone for a pass, that's effective. It comes out to Smith. A long shot at goal will be off target. Roberts is down there with Bennett and almost marks it, Roberts. I think he might have. Or is it a free kick?
I'd say it's a mark, Pete.
He has it, John Roberts, in the forward pocket. And as you can see, right on the boundary line, Roberts looking to see there if all the players were covered, and still doing it, but they are. So he'll have to have a shot. What's he done with that one? Out of bounds, I think. On the full, that is the case. It will be a free kick to St Kilda, to be taken in the back pocket by Middle Miss. Ben Middle Miss, the former Geelong player. I don't think he's played too many games at all this year.
It's been injured.
Out it comes, Smith gets one hand to it, and again Scott comes in to back him up. Rhys-Jones likewise gets out of trouble. No, he doesn't. Well done by Keel, but it's taken by Carroll. Carroll shoots out the hand pass in the goal square. Torben, goal!
Just on 10 minutes gone, and the score at the moment, the Swans 6 points to St Kilda 14 points. The ball out there on the wing position, punched out wide to do Perusal. Goes for a hand pass over to Barry Green, right on the boundary line. Hooks the ball back towards the full forward position. Cruises in the way down there in the back pocket. Kicks it back to centre field. A mark dropped by Allender. Burns comes in. He was grabbed. Umpire said it's holding the man. So the free kick will go to Burns around about the centre field area to drive them into attack. It's a shocking kick. But fortunately, St Kilda picked up by Fiddler, a shot for goal. And the ball is out of bounds on the full. It was a bad kick by Burns that time. Ball out of bounds down there in that back. Fiddler, I should say. The bad kick was a bad pass by Burns over to Fiddler. Scott takes the mark there, a little short of full back. Ball back towards the centre field position again. Off the top of the pack, it's kicked away that time by Burns. Grabbed here now by the big fella, Booth. Finally, it's pushed out now to Rhys-Jones. Goes for a short pass. Looking there for Roberts. Couldn't pick it up. And there's Hounsell running into an open goal. And you can put down your glass about that one. Another goal to the Swans. So the Swans at the moment are 2 straight kicks for goal, 12 points, to St Kilda 2-2-14.
Well, St Kilda have made some interesting changes out there, Lou. We see their back pocket player, Fiddler, coming on and off the ball. Right now it's Colin Hounsell we see putting it through. But the Fiddler goes onto the ball whenever Fashini goes on. Hodges is going everywhere that Wright goes. And as I mentioned earlier, we see the half-back flanker, Keel, going on and off the ball with Evans. That means Hewitt goes everywhere that Greg Smith. So the 4 ruck rovers and rovers of St Kilda have tagging jobs.
I wouldn't get you to repeat that again, Bob, but I lost you about halfway through. But still, you're on the ball as we see Scott drive the ball looking for Roberts again. And he's got the mark, but the umpire may have played a free kick against him.
He has.
It'll go there to, let's see, Middle Miss. Over it goes now. Finally, we see the big fella Thomas take the ball out wide towards that Barry Breen. He's got another mark out there, Breen. As we mentioned before, playing game number 299 and doing all right at the moment. Back to Scott. Scott takes the mark at centre field for the Swans.
And he too has done a number of useful things so far in the first quarter. One of the Swans' better players so far in the term. From centre half back to centre half forward. At the back was Shane Morwood. Nobody can effectively bring that down off the ground from Hounsell. Gets a favourable bounce. The shot at goal was not too bad either. Missed it by about 1.5 metres and through for one behind to the Swans, kicked by Colin Hounsell. And that takes the scores now 2-1 to 2-2. A difference of 1 point in the first term, which has been in progress around about 12.5 minutes. Booth, good mark. Thought about the handball. Allender was making sure that he didn't play on. He has been penalised 15 metres. Arguably a bit harsh. Barker has it knocked away by Browning. Evans. Allender. Allender from centre field. Puts it across to centre half forward, a more than useful pass. Smith, one of the informed players of the Swans, looks for John Roberts, doesn't get a favourable bounce. Flicked out in front of Bennett, taken by Smith again, hit the post! Bad luck for the Swans, he was under plenty of pressure. And that levels the scores after St Kilda had got the first 14 points on the board. The Swans have got the second 14 to tie it up midway through the first term. The Swans started off very well. Last time they were here, they got pegged back. Bennett towards the outer side. Dennis Carroll in front. Allender from right half forward. A long kick looking for John Roberts. Bennett will go the punch from the back. Succeeds in getting it clear. Roberts on the boundary line again. Looks for the handball. Successful. Fashini. Pace gets him clear. A shot at goal is okay. Full points. Fashini's first.
6 points the difference in favour of the Swans. The ball out there towards the wing position now. We're just on the 15-minute mark as the ball is picked up by Evans. A chance to drive this up to Roberts again. Into the forward pocket. Rhys-Jones at the back and a good mark there to Middlemiss. A hand pass coming over. We see Thomas streak towards the Cox, I should say it is, towards the centre of the ground. Picked up by Cruz. A hand pass back again to Carroll. Carroll's kick is over the centre half forward position, and there's a safe mark in defence by Bennett. Another hand pass out wide to Hodges, out there on that wing position, looking for Breen. At the back is Barker, he's flying, couldn't hold the mark, he spoiled his own man that time. No talking there between the two St Kilda players. Ball pushed away again, this is Wright. Another long hand pass coming out to Allender, picks it up very nicely for a big guy up towards the goals. Finally, two players clash again, Fashini, and we see Bernie Evans finally picked up by Keel. A bad kick, a chance now for Shane Ward, a little slow, back to Roberts. Another one back there to Rhys-Jones, a hook at the goals. Torbert's got the chance to mark, he's got his hands and takes the mark. Well, this bloke's been certainly an asset to the Swans since switching over from Essendon. We'll see it in replay again.
Yes, he has been a big asset, Lou, and last week in particular when he went into the ruck against Dempsey, he did a fine job.
Big, the operative word.
Waiting now for Torbert to kick a goal here, I should imagine, from about 10 metres out. Oh, the big fella's missed it. Not too happy about that decision. So at the moment now it's 3 goals, 3-21 the Swans to St Kilda 2-2-14 as we wait now for the ball to come back into play. Bennett playing at full back. Of course, he's playing on Roberts. Roberts seems to have more life about his play today too, Bob.
Well, he showed a lot of life last week, Lou, and I'm sure that he realises that unless he continues to play in that vein, then he's not going to be in the senior side.
Flying high that time was Burns in front of the pack, Hounsell and Keel. Keel still juggling. He knocks it actually back to Hounsell out there at half forward. Goes for a pass across there to Rhys-Jones. He's upended, but the umpire still called play on nearly a free kick against Middlemiss that time. He's going to have a bit of a wrestle. There's a nice double. Burns is in that too. And Cunningham. But the free kick will go there to Wright. He was grabbing, he didn't have the ball. Takes the ball at half forward. Up there towards the full forward position. And a good mark in defence by Thomas.
Hand pass to Burns in the pocket. Taking it wide, which can be fatal here at the SCG with the wide wings. Cunningham to Keel. He hasn't made too many mistakes so far, Keel. Upset that time by Cruz. Umpire Dargaville has decided to warm it up on the centre wing position. Not too much breeze here at the moment. Could pick up later in the day according to the forecast. Taken by Cunningham now from the bounce. Driving St Kilda into attack. It's at half forward. Knocked away by Ackley. Knocked on by Breen. Breen almost caught. Off the ground from Danaher, picked up by Barker. Another head-high tackle from Evans. It should be a free kick, and it will be to Trevor Barker. Barker on centre wing. Short pass. Okay. Picked up by for St Kilda down there by Hewitt. A long kick into the goal square, trying to find Scott. The hand pass, not successful, and Max Cruz knocking it out of bounds or through for one behind. It's 1 point to the Saints. 2-3, 2-3-3. So we wait the ball to come back into play. Carter goes towards the outer side. Carroll. Dennis Carroll, that is. We only have one Carroll in the Swan side today. Wayne not in the lineup. Fiddler almost threw that out. Out it comes to Burns. Back it comes in the meantime through Cox. The ball driven up towards the full forward position. Carter has it knocked away. Browning from centre half back. One of the class players in the Swans lineup, and gets picked up by another one. Well tackled, Trevor Barker. Bruce Duperuzal loses it to Dennis Carroll. Carroll is at right half back flank. Goes for the short pass in towards the centre. Plenty of weight being used out there, and the free kick will be going to Shane Morwood. He will take it at centre field. Only one Morwood in the side today. 2 late withdrawals. Keel flew up a little bit too early. The hand pass comes out to Cunningham, and Cunningham goes for a short pass.
Short pass to Mace, upended that time. A free kick against Cruz, and Mace to take the free kick on the centre wing position for St Kilda. Up it goes there towards the full forward position. In front this time is Scott. Punched away that time by Allender. Ackley comes out of the pack. He's grabbed for the second time. It breaks clear over to Carter. Back there to Ian Roberts out there in that back pocket position. The ball shot out there towards the wing. Punched away by Keel. Still going after it. Finally, Bernie Evans gets a hand pass out there to Scott. And Scott doing very well in the centre at the moment. Back towards that centre half forward position. A good mark to Booth. Booth with a hand pass coming back to Fiddle. They're messing about St Kilda down there in defence. Finally, the ball is back to centre field. Cruz is in the way in front of Mace. The umpire's called play as he goes down holding his head. Finally picked up by Wright. The ball back into attack for the Swans. In front there is Thomas. Couldn't hold the mark out towards Booth again. He's too slow, and the umpire said it'll be a free kick against him. The free kick, I think, to go to Bernie Evans on the boundary line.
Was that a bit harsh?
No, I don't think so. No. But there wasn't much else that Booth could do, but there wasn't anything else the umpire could do either.
So it's Evans with the free kick on the boundary line, about 35 metres out from goal. Kick by Evans. Oh, that's a lovely... what's happened here? They're going to take the kick back, are they?
15 metres, I'd say.
15 metres, and because that could have gone through. I think they would have stopped it just the same.
Well, he would have been given the option had it been a point, I think, or behind.
Well, 21 points, the Swans, to St Kilda 15. St Kilda scored 14 points before the Swans got off the mark. So Bernie Evans is only about 20 metres out from goal now, but a very difficult angle. Usually a pretty good shot for goal, this little fellow. There's the kick. And he's threaded it right through the centre.
Long shot at goal by Barker, and he's put it through for his second goal. The Saints taking the ball from the centre, and they hit back pretty smartly. 3-3-21 to 4-3-27.
Bobby,
yes.
Where is Barker playing? Centre half forward on that half forward flank?
Well, he's basically in the key position, Lou. You know, you might say that Green is at the centre half forward position, and it was Cunningham there and Mace who both tapped that ball on. It was good football by Cunningham and Mace to set that up for Trevor Barker, but Barker basically is at centre half forward with Green on the flank, but then they are swapping, so they are both across the half forward line.
The centre bounce infringement going St Kilda's way. I'm not quite sure who actually walked into the square there, but it's taken by Booth. Up towards full forward, looking for Scott. Duperuzal robes it superbly, clear of Carter, shoots at goal. Could be another one to the Saints. That's a great shot. It's a goal. 2 quick goals to the Saints, and they hit back very smartly here once again to level the scores at the SCG.
It was a beautiful goal, Robert.
Yes, there probably wasn't much else that David Ackley could do on that occasion, but he did back into the pack, and you know, Duperuzal stayed down. Carter punched the ball away, and with Ackley going not so much for the mark, but to try and get the ball away from Mark Scott, then Duperuzal being the only player on the ground.
27 points each of 2 in the first quarter, 4-3 apiece, centre bounce.
And we're at the 23-minute mark, knocked away by Cunningham, down towards the Swan centre half forward position, tackle that time. Down he goes, and the umpire said he'll be holding the ball against him, and the free kick will go to Smith. Incidentally, the last couple of times we've watched the Swans play, this guy's been the best player on the ground.
Well, last year he was runner-up to Barry Round in their best and fairest, and a most consistent player. In fact, is a Victorian player.
There's the kick by Smith. Into the goal square. Will it make the distance? Off the top of the pack. Hounsell can't pick it up. And finally it's dragged over the line that time by Middlemiss. So the Swans are in front by a point now. They're 4-4-28 to St Kilda 4-3-27. Ball back into play again. Out towards the half-back line. At the back there is Elphingston. Has grabbed the mark. Playing on the wing, as Bob mentioned before in the lineup. Ball back there towards centre field. And there's a good man to Carroll. I think that's the man he's supposed to be minding too. Ball kicked by Carroll across there towards centre half forward. Thomas tries to knock the ball. Cox is there too. It's finally pushed out, coming after it, but the umpire's found a free kick. It'll go to the Swans, Shane Morwood, about 35 to 40 metres out from goal, directly in front. They're in front by a point at the moment. And we're on the 24-minute mark of the first quarter. The kick by Morwood. Off target. Roberts got his hands to it. Cunningham breaks out of the pack, but it's smothered.
Free kick to Cunningham.
It's a free kick to Cunningham, and he takes the free kick down there in the back pocket for St Kilda. And the score at the moment is the Swans 4-4-28 to St Kilda 4-3-27.
Cunningham from that back pocket position brings it wide towards the wing. Booth with Rhys-Jones. Burns to Keel. Over it comes to Middlemiss. The Saints go further forward, and it's taken down there by Meehan. Meehan's long kick up towards full forward, knocked away from Duperuzal, taken by Dennis Carroll for the Swans. A long kick from that player. Shane Morwood in front, can't take the mark, and it's dragged in at the back for St Kilda by Cox. To centre field, Burns. Cunningham, very useful player in the first quarter. On to Keel, this guy's probably best on the ground. Would certainly have had just about more possession than anybody else. Ackerley late on the scene, can't stop Mace from taking the mark. Mace would be about 40 metres out from goal, the angle you can see. It's going close, not close enough though for the Saints. It through for one behind. Kicked by Robert Mace, and that once again levels the scores. 4-4, 28 points apiece. Rod Carter. Brings it out the Brawongle stand wing. Well, two St Kilda players flew, probably could have spoiled each other. Comes back to Evans, he got one in the eye. That didn't do him much good at all. Taken by Colin Hounsell. Hounsell's kick up towards the centre wing position. Thomas doing a lot of jostling, may have pushed Torbett in the back. That's how the umpire saw it. And Steve Torbett will take the free kick. He's on centre wing. Play on, says the umpire, which Torbett does. Long kick to half forward. Knocked away from Fashini. Taken by Odgers. Not too far, certainly. Throwing the ball, says the umpire. It will be a free kick to Silvio Fashini. He's at half forward. John Roberts. To go, though, hit the post. It was a real off break, that one, and just shaved the post as it went through. For one behind. The Swans lead by 1 point, 29 to 28. 1 point the difference. The ball comes back there towards Little Keel. He's got the mark again. He's certainly playing a great game in this first quarter. The ball back there towards the centre of the ground. Coming in to meet it as Allen missed it completely. There's a chance now for Barker. Goes for a pass, and Duperuzal's got it. Good play. He nearly copped one that time from Carroll. And goes Breen to protect him. This could get pretty hot this game before it's over. Little bit of pushing and shoving going on there, but Duperuzal's not worried about that because he's got the shot from about 25 metres out directly in front. He's already kicked one goal, and of course this will put St Kilda in front by 5 points, and we're just about on siren time to end this first quarter. There's no doubt about that. It's a goal. So St Kilda hit the front again. St Kilda 5 goals, 4-34 to the Swans 4-5-29. That was a strong mark, Bob.
Yes, it was a well-placed kick by Trevor Barker, and he is proving a handful down there for Mark Browning and Bernie Evans after getting that hit in the eye. The doctor did come out on the ground and have a look at Evans, and he's been replaced temporarily at least by young John Lucas.
Centre bounce again. Difference 5 points in favour of St Kilda. And of course, the Swans are missing 3 players today. Firstly, their captain, Barry Round, and the two Morwood boys, Tony and Paul. It's certainly a big blow to the Swans, and it gives the Saints a real chance in this game. They're 5 points in front. Ball knocked out by Elder, picked up that time by Burns, over the centre half-forward position. Oh, Duperuzal's grabbed this one now. He fumbles. He's grabbed the hand pass, coming back to Breen. He's got a chance for a snap. Will it make it? It's going to the goals. He's got it. A goal to Breen on his 299th game. He'd be as happy as Larry after that. St Kilda, 6 goals, 4-40 to the Swans, 4-5-29.
Yes, well, St Kilda getting the ball away from the centre far more effectively than the Swans, and Duperuzal following that ball long beautifully. Well tackled by Danaher, but gets a long hand pass in, a quick snap, and there it is, through for full points.
29 minutes have gone in the first quarter. Pretty high standard game here at the Sydney Cricket Ground. Booth tries to get it clear over to Shane Morwood. He's in plenty of bother there. Cox can't get clear, and umpire Darkbull will ball it up only a couple of metres from the circle. Conditions certainly favourable for good football at the moment. Booth doing well in the ruck, palms it down beautifully, but it's sharked by Fashini. Up towards half forward, that's a St Kilda mark. Let's see who's got it down there. It's Odgers. Odgers brings it wide, across towards the wing position, over the head of Keel. Flying high is Mace, and Mace brings down the mark.
He's played a pretty good first quarter too, Bob.
He's played well, Lou.
Robert Mace, punt kick. Full forward, knocked down to Hewitt, taken by Ian Roberts. Elphinston marks for the Saints over Dennis Carroll. He's gone for a pass over the head of Hewitt. Carter at the back, backing up well again is Ian Roberts. Shepherded by Danaher. Roberts around the boundary line. Shane Morwood with Cox. He's gone for a pass, trying to find Fashini. Successful in executing that manoeuvre. Fashini would have been off, but he tripped over, or slipped over. Running past Ackley to take the handball. Got good speed, this back pocket player. Ackley's pass, okay. Mark taken down there by Torbett. Steve Torbett has kicked one goal so far. He would be 45 to 50 metres out as we watch it in replay. A good grab. And certainly carrying the Swans rucks at the moment. The kicking lets him down, however, out of bounds on the full. It will be a penalty to be taken by Bennett in the back pocket. Bennett's gone for a pass, accepted by Odgers at left half back. Up to centre field. Duperouzal in front, knocked away by Ackley. Over to Scott, to Dennis Carroll. Up to full forward. John Roberts, good mark. Bennett tried to go the punch, but good use of the body by the Swans full forward. Gives him a chance to bring up his first goal. As we look at it in replay, there's the siren, so a lot of pressure on John Roberts. The Swans trail 4-5 to 6-4. So if he can go here, the difference at quarter time will be 5 points. Should get the distance. He's only 30 metres out from goal. It looks okay. We'll wait on the goal umpire's decision, though. It's a goal. So John Roberts bringing up his first goal of the afternoon, a badly needed one by the Swans, and at quarter time they trail 5-5, 35 to St Kilda, 6-4, 40 points. Welcome back to the Sydney Cricket Ground and checking the quarter time score. The Swans 5-5, 35 to St Kilda, 6-4, 40. Goal kickers for the Swans, singles to Torbett, Hounsell, Evans, John Roberts and Fashini. For St Kilda, 2 goals to Barker, 2 to Duperouzal, 1 to Breen and 1 to Scott. St Kilda leading by 5 points. Bob Skill.
I think one of the reasons they are leading by the 5 points has been their half-forward line. Mace has done well, Barker has done well, and Breen nowhere near as effective as the other two, but still on top of his respective opponent in Tony Danaher. At the other end of the ground, Cox, Thomas and Keel have been solid half-back flankers. Keel, even when he goes on the ball, has been going on and off the ball with Bernie Evans until Bernie Evans was injured, and he has certainly helped the St Kilda side. In recent weeks we have seen Evans, Smith, not so much Fashini, but Stephen Wright. Those 4 players have been the prime movers for the Swans, but with the St Kilda players all playing their respective tagging roles, then they have done a great job in containing the South small men. Watching again now as we see some of the highlights of the first term. Duperouzal tapping that ball forward and picked up by Mark Scott straight through the centre. Scott has kicked 1 goal, and apart from that, Rod Carter has been a pretty fair player at full-back, bringing the ball down. But each time that they are going for that punch away down there from Scott, you've got players like Duperouzal doing the roving, and Duperouzal has kicked 2 goals himself as Alex Jezelenko comes off after addressing the team from quarter time.
Well, let's take a look at our next piece of replay from the first term as Saints coach Alex Jezelenko makes his way from the field. Scott comes in the back.
Brett Scott coming through, but then it's Rhys-Jones who gets his hands pass smothered. It's well backed up though by Dennis Carroll. A long hand pass to Torbett, and it's just through for another goal.
Right, so we're just about set for the second quarter and already becoming fairly dull here at the SCG. I would not discount the possibility of rain. I believe it still is raining in Melbourne as it was when we left this morning. Second quarter starts at the SCG with St Kilda leading by 5 points, 42-35. A very high standard of play in the first term. Knocked down by Allender. The Swans through Hounsell go into attack. Beautiful kick too by Hounsell up towards full forward. Rhys-Jones tackling very solidly. Doesn't come out with the ball. It's taken away by Bennett for St Kilda. Well, in fact, almost. Roberts' tackle was equally as good. Rhys-Jones' shot at goal is not quite there with the mark taken on the goal line by Thomas. Grant Thomas, a very solid player. Towards the outer side. At the back is Torbett. Down there is Scott and Keel. Also Hounsell. It's over the line. It will be thrown in front of the main scoreboard on the hill, which still indicates that the Swans trail by 5 points. Torbett and Booth. Booth with the lead. Torbett comes down with the ball. Fashini, well scooped on. The umpire says it was more than scooped, it was thrown. And it will be a free kick to be taken down there by Fiddler. Fiddler from the right half-back flank. Brings it up to centre wing, looking for Mace. Cruz goes the punch. Mace clashes with Wright. It will be a boundary throw-in. Same two ruckmen, Doug Booth and Steve Torbett. Torbett has the bulk, Booth the leap. Booth wins this one, looking for a handball over the head of Keel. Thomas goes through very solidly, gets it away from Smith. In fact, he was almost grabbed with not in possession. Thomas goes for a short pass. That's successful, picked up by Barry Breen.
And Barry Breen goes for a hand pass. Running into an open goal is Burns. But it's up target and through for 1 point. So it's the goal the difference now in favour of St Kilda. St Kilda 6 goals, 5-41 to the Swans 5-5-35. Short pass out there to Ackley. Takes that very easily. A hand pass back to Allender at half back. Little slow getting rid of the ball. But it's safe and a mark to Carroll. Carroll's played a fairly good game today for the Swans so far, Bob.
He's a very effective player, Carroll.
There we see flying up. He's had 8 kicks up to this stage of the match, Carroll. Back it goes there towards the... Oh, there we see going to the ground. Thrown that time was Bennett, a shot for goal. But it's off target by Lucas on the ground now and through for 1 point. So it's 5 points the difference again. 5-6-36 the Swans to St Kilda 6-5-41. Ball back into play again. Out there towards that half-back flank position. Mark taken there by the little fellow. The umpire called play on Wright goes down, but he's grabbed on the shoulders as the umpire indicated.
I thought it was a mark anyway.
Yeah, I would have played the mark. Little fellas have got to put it in their kit bag and take it in the dressing room to prove a mark.
Don't start.
There's the kick by Wright up there towards Shane Morwood. Got his hands to it. Roberts is there too. Fumbles the ball. It comes back to Fashini, but the umpire's found a free kick. It'll go to the Swans full forward. Roberts only about 10 metres out from goal, and Roberts has already kicked 1 goal. So this will put the Swans in front if he's successful with this shot. There's the, gives you some indication of the angle and the distance. See what he can do with this one, Roberts. Oh, it's right across the face of goal, and he's put it out of bounds on the full, and a penalty free kick there to Middlemas.
That's the second time that John Roberts has done exactly the same thing.
Should take a lesson from Bernie Evans because he kicked a beautiful goal from a similar position down the other end of the ground. Ball back into play again, out towards the St Kilda half-back line. Coming in to meet that time is Burns, but too good in the air there, for the Swans was Shane Morwood, only about 40 metres out from goal. I'd be having a shot from this position if I was Shane Morwood.
A shot from full back.
Well, I think it's foolish when you're on a small ground like this to go for short passes, Pete. There's the kick by Morwood. It's covering the distance nicely, and it's through for a goal. Great goal. He must have heard what I was talking about.
4.5 minutes into the second quarter, the Swans lead by 1 point. Keel for St Kilda. Most possessions on the ground so far, up towards full forward. Almost a mark to Scott. The umpire says no. Picked up by Max Cruz. The kick slewing off the side of the boot just a little bit. Very wide towards the flank. No mark paid to Carroll. Going through solidly is Smith. Short pass in towards the centre, taken by Stephen Wright. Knocked on to Lucas. High kick towards the pocket. Roberts, Fashini, 3 metres out from goal, has put it through for another one to the Swans, and is he happy? Well, Silvio Pescini, always dangerous near goals, and he made no mistake. He pounced on that very quickly, Bob.
Yes, it was his second goal, and Silvio today looks to be, well, playing a little bit what I might term to instructions, because he's obviously playing far more of a team game today than he has in some other games. He's been inclined to just want to kick the goals, and we saw him there punching the ball away from the St Kilda defence to give Lucas the chance. Now he follows on down the ground, gathers it beautifully, puts it through with the banana-type kick.
7 points the difference in the second quarter. The Swans looking much better than they did in the first as they go forward again. Not too far. It's taken by Allender. His kick was well smothered. Lucas couldn't do much with it either. Now's the chance for the Saints. A wild hand pass comes out in the direction of Elphinston. Off the boot, high. Duperuza at the back has to go the punch. It's taken by Barker, and Barker screams goal. Barker's kick in towards the square, and the mark is taken by Scott.
His height really telling on that occasion. Carter in the front position, but Mark Scott having an advantage of about 3 or 4 inches, and he certainly used it then.
Waiting on Scott to have this shot from about 2 metres out, and that's put the Saints back in business again. So the score, 7 goals, 6-48 the Swans to St Kilda 7-5-47. A point the difference.
Let's take a look at it in replay. Barker's kick.
A well-placed kick by Trevor Barker, and screwing the ball back into the goal square, and Mark Scott doing the rest to kick his second goal.
Point the difference. We go back to the centre. See Dunn getting ready to come on the ground. It'll be the big fella Booth for St Kilda against Allender. Centre bounce. Booth got that one, then forced away by Allender again. The fresh air shot by Burns, kicked off the ground by Alpingston. Finally, it's driven out there by Hewitt. Oh, Barry Breen's got the mark. And the old-timer's doing fairly well today out there on that half-forward flank. Kicked by Breen. That's one thing he can do, kick a football. Right up there towards the full-forward position. Dropped by Cruz. He's grabbed Barker around the neck, and he'll get the free kick. Only about 25 metres out from goal on a very slight angle, and Barker's already kicked 2 goals.
Elphinston off, and Jeff Dunn on for St Kilda.
Waiting now for Barker. This goal, if he's successful, will put the Saints in front. Kick by Barker. Comes around nicely for a goal. So we see St Kilda hitting the front. We've got a very good game on our hands, and it's a very high standard match. 8 goals, 5-53. St Kilda to the Swans, 7-6-48. And we're at the 8.5-minute mark of this second quarter.
Alphinston going up the race, and Alphinston's form would be a worry to St Kilda, because Dennis Carroll's playing a fine game on the wing. I did notice that Jeff Dunn went to the other wing, and Cunningham coming on to Dennis Carroll.
Approaching the 9-minute mark of the second quarter. Centre bounce, Booth against Allender. Allender gets that one down. Out it goes there towards Burns. Burns with a hand pass back to Booth again. Hooks the ball wide, looking out there for Mace, and Mace should take this one. He does. He'll go away from Cruz. Now he went back to take the kick. He had a chance to play on that. Kicks the ball up there towards the full forward position. Barker trying to get front fuzzy. Knocked out of Smith. Gets a hand pass out wide, and Allender takes it away from the danger zone.
To half forward. Oh, beautiful mark to Shane Morwood. Very, very tall. There's not too much of him as we watch that in replay. Fine pair of hands. John Roberts, equally good mark in front of Bennett.
Well, I'll tell you what, he was going away from the goals instead of going directly at him, Bob.
Yes, but there was no space directly up the ground, Lou, and as we saw the kick by Shane Morwood earlier, from this position the goals are fairly open anyway, so John Roberts should make amends for his previous bad miss.
Roberts has kicked one so far for the Swans. That one looks like his second. 1 goal. So John Roberts bringing up his second to put the Swans back into the lead, a seesawing game here at the SCG.
As well as we mentioned, it's a fairly easy position to kick from the angle out on this flank. The goals are open from that position, but it was a nice lead by John Roberts, a beautiful kick after a great mark.
1 point the difference, with the Swans leading 54-53. Back into the centre. Knocked down to Burns from Booth. Barker can't take the mark. Cruz got into his back. It will be a free kick to Trevor Barker.
It's South have made a move with Browning going out onto Mason, Cruz onto Barker.
Cox gets clear of Allender. Doug Cox streaming goalward from right half forward. Punched away by Browning. Taking the ball was Mace, but not too far. Browning was making sure that he didn't get clear, and it will be a ball up to take place just adjacent to the 10-metre square in front of the Bradman stand. Now they're doing the ruck work for the Swans. Barker on the bottom of that little stack up, and umpire Morrow once again will ball it up almost in the identical position. 1 point the difference, 8-6 to 8-5. Islanders' backhander is successful. It may even be a through from behind. It is. And so that will level the scores. 1 point rushed.
We've seen the lights go on in recent weeks, Pete. I think they might need them today.
I would say so, Bob. The very fair sort of a bit, getting quite dark here as the ball comes out towards Jeff Dunn. That's his first touch for the afternoon, having just come on to replace Elphinston. He swings the Saints forward, getting underneath the ball. Danaher, Barker's there from the back. Nobody can take the mark. And umpire Morrow has found a free kick. It will go to the Swans at centre half back, and the recipient, I think, will be Mark Browning. Allen is still on the ground. Browning's free kick.
Browning to take that free kick at half back. Grabbed, but he didn't have the ball that time, and of course it looked as though the umpire could have missed it, but he spotted it, and of course Browning ready to send them back into attack again. Over the head of the pack, finally kicked away by Thomas, doing pretty well. Well covered by Ackley. Another long kick over the Swans half forward line. There's a chance now for Middle Miss. He lost sight of that complete. This is dangerous. Flashini runs to an open goal, and you can put down your glasses over that one. It's right through the middle. Look at him jumping. High home. Comes back there to Burns. Back towards Barker. He's got the mark. He's doing very well at centre half forward. A hand pass coming over there to Dunn. Dunn's kick is up there towards the goal square, and a good mark in defence there by Ackley. So it's a ding-dong struggle at the moment as we see Smith fumble that one. He slipped over, but by golly, he's got courage. He goes after it again. Good play on the part of Smith as he gets it out to Allender. Another long hand pass out there to Ackley on that half-back line. And the ball on the wing position now. They're all having a look around. That'll be a mark there to Big Talbot. That's 3 or 4 good marks he's taken so far in this match. 60 points. The Swans to St Kilda 54 as the ball is on that half-forward line again. Fiddle is grabbed by Scott. Now we see Scott trying to get it out. He was grabbed that time by Bennett, and the umpire said it'll be a free kick. Don't ask me why.
Well, I didn't think he ever took possession of the ball then.
I'm inclined to agree with you.
Well, the crowd not too happy with the decision. Maybe that says it all. Talbot got underneath that one. Allender at the back. Now it comes out to Smith again. Can't get clear. Hand pass is well smothered. Dennis Carroll over the top. Allender missed it, and it will be out of bounds in front of the Wollongong stand to be thrown into play.
Well, it's certainly a great tussle, Peter. There's not much in it at all, is there?
Not at the moment, Lou. Only a few points. 54 to 60 in favour of the Swans. Booth from centre wing. Lucas too late on the scene. It's at centre field. Oh, Barker got a mile in the air. To Hounsell. To Browning. Beautiful kick by Browning. Looking for Roberts. Bennett goes the punch. Successfully executes that manoeuvre. Fittler almost got into his opponent's back though as Bennett drives the Saints clear. Mark taken by Burns. Dunn does the shepherding. To Barker. To Mace. Mace has a shot at goal from 30 metres out. Scott and Carter. And Carter rushes it through for one further behind to the Saints. And that takes the scoreboard 9-6-60 to 8-7-55.
Tell you what, Bob, Scott's not putting up much resistance down there against Carter.
Carter's a very awkward player to play against, and with Scott's height, he should really be showing a lot more aggression.
Ball into the centre, a chance for Cuttingham to pick it up, which he does so, ahead of Dennis Carroll. Long hand ball over towards Thomas. Thomas's high kick up towards full forward again. Roberts and not Roberts, but Carter and Scott. And Carter clears the ball wide towards centre wing. Hounsell, good place, takes the mark in front of a former Victorian representative in Jeff Dunn. To Browning. Speaking of Victorian representatives, Browning from centre field, not the best of kicks. It may be downfield. It will be to Roberts. If it is, we'll wait and see. Yes, it is. It's to John Roberts, a free kick downfield.
It's 2 occasions now when Mark Browning has gained possession, and today he lowered his colours to Trevor Barker and was shifted out, but he really shows the value of the long kick, Mark Browning.
John Roberts is the man with the ball, directly in front of goal. Roberts a chance for his third, which he has done. 3 goals to John Roberts, and the Swans go further ahead of the SC journey.
Well, Just over 16 minutes gone of the second quarter, and the Swans are in front by 11 points. A new ball coming onto the ground. Well, a foolish bit of play on the part of Thomas that time for St Kilda, and of course
Thomas is an aggressive player though, Lou.
Well,
and,
sometimes it can be a bit foolish being over aggressive, can't it? Of course, an easy goal for Roberts to kick a goal, kicking his third. Knocked out by Booth, doing fairly well on the ruck too. Trying to get a hand pass, but grabbed by one of the smallest players on the ground. He got one right behind there, got one in the face. That's the second one he's copped. I don't tell he's going to have a go at Booth, number 26. A bit big for him. Booth again. Allender at the back got the punch down. Booth went into his own man there. He's knocking anyone over. First one inside goes down. Finally it comes out to Burns. Little Hounsell sweeps on the ball loose, and Thomas can't pick it up. He falls, scoops it between his legs. Back it goes there, and Allender drives the ball up there towards Roberts and Bennett, both having a great tussle. Little Fiddler comes on the scene, gets the ball away from that full forward position out towards the back pocket. It'll beat them all and out of bounds, about 40 metres around from the Swans' goal. And at the 17-minute mark, they're 10-6-66 to St Kilda 8-7-55. Ball knocked down to Keel, who's played a great game here today. Thomas having a bit of a juggling. He's a bit strong to break away. Finally picked up by Burns over there towards Torbett. Torbett is attacked by Cox down there in the back pocket. Overruns the ball, but unfortunately,
it's raining.
It's kicked out of bounds by Morwood, and the free kick will go to Cox down there in that back pocket position. Starting to rain at the moment.
You can tell that. You've only got to look at the hill.
They're all moving off the hill as the ball is kicked out wide. A chance now for Little Hounsell to clear the ball. Back over to Smith on his own. Smith out there on that centre wing position towards the edge of the square. Drives it over centre half forward. Pushed away again by Cunningham, but getting the run of the ball that time is Carroll. A beautiful hand pass over to Scott. This looks dangerous. He hooks the ball towards the goals. Will it make the distance? It does, but it's off target, through for 1 point. So the Swans move on to 10 goals, 7-67. To St Kilda, just dawdling a bit at the moment, 8-7-55. There's the old hill moving up there under the shelter. I don't think it'll rain for very long.
Burns flicks it out to Keel. He's been a little bit quiet this quarter. Started off in great fashion in the first term. Over it goes to Odgers. Long handball back to Burns, in turn over to Odgers. Odgers from centre wing, short pass. Tries to find Jeff Dunn. It's met with a solid but fair bump. Hewitt having plenty of trouble gathering it in, holding the ball, says the umpire.
Didn't get much chance.
Never had a chance, that fella then, Hewitt. Not one chance.
Stephen Wright. Knocked down by Cunningham. Greg Smith over to Allender. Allender's caught very, very quickly. Danaher back to Smith. He's in everything again, especially in this quarter. A long shot at goal is through for 1 point to Smith. 8-7-55. St Kilda, the Swans 10-8-68. A difference of 13 points at the Sydney Cricket Ground. Bennett. In front is Breen. At the back is Booth. Rhys-Jones got one in the back, and I think he might be the recipient of the free kick. He is. And Rhys-Jones will take the free at right half forward. Has not been playing on the wing today. Named in the forward pocket. Last match up here, he played the first half in the similar position and started on the wing in the second half. Taken away by Fiddler. Burns and Scott. Knock on by Burns. Hewitt gets the favourable bounce. Barker takes the mark in front of Browning. There's two class players. Barker in towards the goal square. And a good mark taken by Scott. Mark Scott, so far in the match, has kicked 2 goals for the Saints.
A nice mark, Lou.
Very, very good mark on the part of Scott. Positioned himself well.
Scott is about 30 metres out from goal. Pretty well directly in front. It looks okay. 1 goal to Mark Scott.
21 minutes into this second quarter. 7 points the difference in favour of the Swans. Kicked away by Burns out there to Mean. Taps it onto Dunn. Dunn goes for hand pass. It's a bad one into the hands of Scott. He drives it back over that half forward line. Oh, coming out to meet it is Fashini. Good play. In a bit of trouble there was Grab. Didn't have the ball. And Fashini will take the free kick out there at half forward.
Allender in a bit of trouble too, Lou.
They'll miss him. They've lost Barry Round before the start of this match. They can't afford to lose any more big men. And the mark going out there to Hounsell about 40 metres out from goal. Looks as though he's in a bit of bother, Allender. course, they've lost 3 players before the start, the 2 Morwood boys and their skipper, Barry Round. There's the kick by Hounsell. Off target, through for a point. So it's 8 points the difference now. 10 goals, 9-69 the Swans to St Kilda, 9-7-61. Allen back on his feet again and moving. Well, I wouldn't say the best. Short pass and the mark taken there by Cox down there in the back pocket. Kick by Cox is back towards the wing position. No one can take the mark. Blees on the ground now, smothers the ball, taps it out looking for Barry Breen. He taps it on nicely to Burns. Birchie runs back into trouble. A bad hand pass back there to Hodges. Smith once again, as Peter said, doing a great job this second quarter. Over to Allender again. And a good mark in defence by Middlemiss. Middlemiss out there at half-back. Decides to go straight down the ground. That's the only way to play this Sydney cricket ground. At the back was Mace. He got a bigger shot than anyone. Knocks it over to Booth. My golly, he slowed up a bit, this guy. Not Booth, Dunn, I should say. And finally, back it goes to Little Keel. He's grabbed, taps it out now to Cunningham. Cunningham trying to get, he's threw it out the back. But luckily for him there, we see Keel on the way back to Dunn again. A nice ball. Fires at the goals, but he's off target and through for 1 point. Tell you what, Dunn seems to have slowed up a bit, Bob.
Well, he hasn't played a lot of football this year, Jeff Dunn, and he did have his disagreement with the club at one stage, and this is his first game back after playing in the reserves last week.
At the back is Blees from that kick out. Taken by Mark Browning. That's a better kick from Browning. Good 55 metres down towards the full forward position. Here's a chance for Fiddler to pick it up. Not bouncing too well for him, and he pokes it out of bounds.
Free kick back to John Roberts, Pete. Cunningham in trouble.
Was it for?
Well, for hanging on. After the ball had gone over their heads, Bennett was hanging on to John Roberts, and he did go down, as we see Stephen Allender having the doctor getting a look at his rear section.
Yes, he must have got a bad knee in the back or thereabouts. I'm not really quite sure what happened, but obviously Allender in a good deal of pain. And
Jeff Cunningham not too good either.
No, he's not. He's limping as he goes up the race. Meantime, Roberts has a shot at goal and has put it through for only 1 point. So, scores 10-10-70 to 9-8-62, a difference of 8 points in favour of the Swans. It might be a last man standing affair here this afternoon.
And they've given Allen the old painkiller and going back to sit on the... He looks as though he's going into the dressing room too, Allen to Peter.
Bennett does the kick out, but it will be brought back, says umpire Morrow. Stephen Allender making his way from the field, noticeably limping, and he's not in his own in that regard this afternoon.
Of course, Alfingston's off the ground too. That's Alfingston and Cunningham for St Kilda.
Middlemiss and Rhys-Jones. Rhys-Jones puts a headlock on him, or almost, and gets penalised 15 metres for his trouble.
There's 2 fiery players together there.
Yes, you're right. Middlemiss. Long kick to left half forward. Down to Scott. And umpire Darkball will ball it up pretty well on the centre wing position, between half forward and centre wing.
Talbot has gone into the ruck and Grady to centre half forward, Pete.
2 of the moves being made by Ricky Quaid to try and patch up the holes. Knocked down to Scott. Scott's kick is up towards the point of the square. Rhys-Jones got a couple of hands to it, couldn't mark it. Wright going through very solidly. Rhys-Jones grabbed too high, was he? Umpire says yes, and Rhys-Jones will take the free kick. Doug Cox incurring the displeasure of Brady. Rhys-Jones, I think, got a boot in the head. I would like to see that in replay if that's possible, because that was a rather nasty incident. The umpire has seen fit to penalise St Kilda 15 metres. Rhys-Jones in the hands of the trainers. Let's watch it again and watch the head region. Yes, make up your own mind on that one. I won't say anything. Rhys-Jones from right half forward kicks into the man on the mark and Middlemiss, and that pleases the St Kilda supporters aplenty as the ball is driven by Hodges, picked up by Scott. Back to Rhys-Jones. Keel late on the scene. Rhys-Jones has the final say and puts it through, I think, for a goal. No, touched. One behind. Kicked by Rhys-Jones, and the scores 9-8-62. St Kilda trailing the Swans 10-11-71 in an action-packed second quarter.
Certainly is. 9 points the difference. The ball out there now to the big fellow Booth it is, and finally we see the ball out there on that wing position, driven out wide, knocked away by Mace, taps it on nicely, a chance there for Little Me to get it over. Finally spinning out of the pack that time is Cox. He's grabbed, the umpire said dropping the ball against him.
Actually penalising the side on that occasion.
Take the free kick will be Morwood, a short kick there, and the big fella taking the mark at centre half back is Torbett for the Swans. They're 9 points in front. Ball back there towards the centre half forward position. Flying high was Carroll, couldn't hold the mark. They're falling over left and right at the moment. Finally, Brady gets a hand pass out there to Shane Ward. He fumbled it and goes Cox again. Rhys-Jones is there. He's tackled by two of them. Not many big pardons out there, and the umpire certainly letting things go out to Morwood again. Drives the ball up there, looking there for Roberts. Taps the ball on. Hits the deck now. Bennett goes after. He's upended by Fashini, and the umpire set in the back. Bennett comes out to the members' side of the ground. Going towards the line there now is Blees. Blees in a bit of trouble picking this one up. He's well tackled. Well tackled by Carroll, but the umpire still calling play on. As we see coming in to help Blees is Bennett. He's grabbed and thrown over the line. I tell you what, I'm glad I'm sitting up here. This is going to be on for young and old before it's over. There'll be 4 rounds of boxing, any tick of the clock. Alphinston on the bench now. Went back into the dressing room before. Carroll running into trouble, couldn't get clear. I don't blame him either. Finally, Scott goes for a hand pass. Over there to Thomas. Thomas's kick is back out towards the wing position. Punched away again by the big fella Booth. Back towards Dunn, but there we see Mace going for a tap out. A beautiful one out to Dunn. Another hand pass to Du Perusel, and the skipper runs, balks beautifully, runs to an open goal and fires, and he's put it through for a goal. So, the difference is only 3 points now. 10-11-71 now the Swans to St Kilda, 10-8-68.
Du Perusel bringing up his 3rd goal after a fine piece of teamwork from St Kilda, and we saw Mace tap the ball over the top, taken by Jeff Dunn. A hand pass on to Du Perusel, and here the cleverness of Du Perusel. He dummied the hand pass, got around his opponent, and then put the ball through for full points.
Bruce Du Perusel, 3 goals, Trevor Barker 3. 29 minutes gone, second quarter. Fiddler. Cruz on the bottom of the pack, tries to affect the handball, not successful in getting it to a teammate, and umpire Morrow will ball it up. As I said, nearly 29 minutes gone in the quarter. Booth doing the ruck work with Torbett. It's a nudge out, says the umpire. Torbett will take the free kick. He's at centre half back for the Swans. At the moment, they lead by 3 points, 71-68. And as we have pointed out, and as you have seen, a pretty rough and tough affair. Good mark to Rhys-Jones. Rhys-Jones is at centre half forward. Not a bad kick for goal either, as a rule. Hasn't scored one today. I think his tally is 1 behind. Lead being made by Roberts. Rhys-Jones elects to go for the long kick. He's dobbed that, I think. Yes, it's through. All clear, says the goal umpire. Rhys-Jones being congratulated by Fashini. Rhys-Jones bringing up his first goal of the afternoon. 11-11-77. The Swans to St Kilda, 10-8-68.
Yes, well, a lovely mark under the circumstances. It wasn't a high, spectacular mark, but he judged it to perfection, and a nice kick. And Rhys-Jones, a dangerous player down there. It's been a good duel between he and Middlemiss.
9 points the difference, 77-68. Torbett wins it well, can't find Scott. It goes to Burns instead. Smith from short of half-back, or Fashini it was, down towards centre field, or half-forward, I beg your pardon. A hand pass for the Saints. The whistle has gone. Jeff Morrow, the umpire, saying it will be a free kick to Smith, I think.
Yeah, Smith coming out holding his jaw. Someone's clipped him one, Pete. Well, we're right on siren time here now. I don't know who it was. I'm not going to blame Middlemiss for it.
He's going crook about the decision anyway.
Well, if the cap fits, you can wear it.
So Smith, a very good quarter by him for the Swans. There's a chance to put them further ahead. 45 metres out. That's not a bad kick either, and it looks okay. Smith brings up his first goal for the afternoon. The Swans go further ahead, 12-11, 83 to 10-8, 68.
And we're at the, let's see, 31.5-minute mark of this second quarter. That was a very handy goal just on siren time by Smith. And as we've mentioned many times from these direct telecasts from the Sydney Cricket Ground, one of their best players this year.
Bernie Evans on the interchange bench, and I can only reiterate what Lou just said. And Greg Smith, one of the best players in league football at the moment.
Certainly having a great season with the Swans. Torbett, well, he didn't get that one. Booth got that down, spinning out of the pack as little keel. There's no doubt about this little fellow. He's a terrier. Boots the ball out there, well smothered by Danaher. Over to Fashini. He's certainly shining today too. A short pass, and Carroll doing a great job on that wing position for the Swans. A short pass and a mark taken here by Scott. Scott would be about 45 to 50 metres out. Of course, getting that last goal certainly helped by Smith, and this could just about be another one. It's a nice kick, but it veers up towards the pocket, up the top of the pack. Nicely scouting there as Cox clears the ball out to the half-back line. It's Booth and Hansel going for that. Booth hasn't got the mark, but he's paying the mark. Done on me. I'm calling him Booth. I don't know why. It's done. A hand pass coming over now, and we see him going back for a kick. What's that for, Bob?
Well, he hadn't gone back behind his mark, and umpire Dargle would call time off.
Okay, there we see the kick by Dunn, a short one, marked here by Brady out there on that wing position, finally picked up by Cruz down towards the forward pocket. Morwood couldn't hold that one. He goes down. It's finally forced out again. Tapped on. This could be dangerous, as we see Wright getting away that time from middle. Miss goes for a short pass, and Shane Morwood's got the mark directly in front, only about 20 metres out, if that. And Morwood's already kicked one goal. There's the siren to end the second quarter, and this will be a very handy goal for the Swans.
John Roberts got a go on the quarter-time siren too, Lou.
Yes, that's right. So it could be an omen for the Swans. There's the kick by Morwood, and it's right through the middle. So at half-time, we see the Swans doing pretty well now. 13-11-89 to St Kilda 10-8-68.
The third quarter begins in torrential rain. 89-68, the Swans leading. Torbett gets the first tap out, tries to find Scott, successful. Scott getting caught with the ball, but too high, says umpire Dargle, the tackle. Picked up by Barker.
Full play on.
Yes, he did. Ackley missed it. It's going to be a very greasy and slippery ball now. Carter tries to get it to a teammate, which he does. Scott. Jeff Dunn. Keel had a very good first quarter, well tackled by Evans back onto the field for the Swans. He got a nasty knock in the eye during the first quarter. Keel caught with the ball, tries to effect a hand pass to Dunn. Intercepting is Stephen Wright right on the boundary line. And a mark taken down there by Brady. Brady had left half forward for the Swans. Formerly of Fitzroy. I think this would be about his third or fourth senior appearance in the side. That's not a bad sort of a kick. Going very close. In fact, it's a goal. Great shot by Brady. That was the one they wanted to start the third quarter. 14-11, 95 to 10-8-68.
We could say that the injury to Stephen Allen on that occasion an advantage, because it's meant that Brady has opened up at centre half forward. Stephen Allen is on the interchange bench still. Stephen Torbett in the ruck. So Craig Brady, and then we see some very, very well prepared, you would say, would you?
Well, you've got to say they're keen. The chance now for the ball to be knocked on by St Kilda out towards Little Hansel. Drives the ball wide, finally out towards the wing position, and there's a good mark taken there by Bernie Evans. Looks as though he's okay. Went off the ground in the second quarter with an injured eye. Kicked up there by Browning. Rhys-Jones in front. The ball very slippery at the moment. He was grabbed. The umpire said play on. Fashini snaps at the goals. Chance for Brady to mark, but it beats him, and it's through for another point. So the score, the Swans 14-12, 96 to St Kilda 10-8-68. Ball back into play again. There's Carroll in position, the boy we were talking about at half-time, and a greatly improved player this year. He's been a very good asset to the Swans as he drives the ball up there towards the full forward position. Brady gets in position, couldn't hold the mark. It's finally knocked away by Thomas. Coming in to meet it now is Wright. Very elusive play, goes for a short pass, punched away by the big fella Booth. As they go now for the ball to be driven out there towards the wing position. Coming in to meet it is Mace, but he's overwhelmed that time by Browning. Finally picked up by Hansel. Back it goes to Torbett. A long kick up there looking for Roberts in the front posse. Coming in front of him was Morwood. And going through the pack once again is Thomas, driving the ball back towards the St Kilda half-back line. Browning in front. He's upended that time by Dunn. The ball hand passed out by Keel out towards Mace. He's grabbed by Smith. The umpire said it could be a free kick. He's paying it, and the free kick will go to Mace out there at half-back. Certainly a long way from that half-forward flank where he's picked to play. Ball drops a bit short. chance now for Cruz. He picked it up very well for a wet ball. There's no doubt about that. And it's a beautiful pass to mark taken there by Shane Morwood.
Shane Morwood between wing and left half forward. He's put it across the ground towards centre half forward, and Stephen Wright takes a good mark. Browning. Looking for Roberts, and he's found him. No, the ball slipped through his fingers like a piece of soap. Through for one behind, 14-13, 97 to 10-8, 68. The Saints haven't scored this quarter so far, as we welcome viewers through TVW Channel 7 in Perth to the telecast, with the news that at the Sydney Cricket Ground it is coming down per bucket and making conditions very, very greasy. The rain started during the half-time break, and looking at the clouds, I would reckon it has set in. Lees, number 49. Gives the hand pass out, and almost caught down there was Fiddler. Into the centre it comes, and St Kilda swing into attack through Hewitt. Hewitt's kick up towards the full forward position. Scott, good mark with the wet ball, takes it in front of Carter.
Well, that's where he should have been playing all day, in front, because he's a big guy. He's very hard to get around, Peter. Mark
Scott has kicked to date 3 goals for his side, and if he can bring up one here, it would be a very valuable one indeed, because St Kilda trails 68 to 97 at the moment, 29 points the difference. That looks okay, is it? No, he's missed it. Goodness me. From only 30 metres out, so 10-9. That's their first score of the third quarter. 69 to 97, a difference of 28 points. Rod Carter drives the ball back into play towards the Brawongle stand wing. Carrick in front, knocked away by Blees. Going through is Meehan. On the shoulder, says the umpire. Meehan has a free kick from right half forward. And thank heavens for the lights here at the SCG. It would be very dull otherwise. And certainly it has been a lot cooler since that change moved in. Meehan, a shot at goal, going very, very close. Touched through, I think, for one behind. Yes, it is. And the score here now, 10-10-70 to 14-13-97.
And that's St Kilda's second score for the quarter. Haven't yet scored a goal. And of course, the Swans getting a very valuable one. They're kicking against the breeze, and it's certainly still up there pretty strong at the moment, Bob. The breeze favouring the end that St Kilda are kicking to.
Yes, St Kilda do have an advantage kicking to that end in this term. We see the short pass coming out from Carter. Scott and Burns have had a fine duel in the centre.
I would pay Scott the pat on the back there, because he's been far more effective with his kicks and hand passing. Burns has certainly handled the ball possibly a bit more than he has. Coming in to meet it now is Hewitt. The ball driven over the centre half forward position, punched away by Barker. Then we see a hand pass from me, and the umpire said he was grabbed too high. I don't know about that one.
I think he may have been tackled a little high in the first place, but maybe may also have been technical.
Okay, we wait now for the free kick to Meehan. He'll take that about 40 metres out from goal, directly in front. Doesn't quite make the distance. Scott was held onto that time, picked up here by Evans. Hand pass coming over there to Ackley's boot, got it away, but he picked it up the second time, then he fumbled again. The ball is out of bounds, still in the forward pocket position for St Kilda, about 30 metres around from their goal.
Well, Ackley obviously got the mail that it was raining at half-time. He came out in the long-sleeve Guernsey.
Well, he's pretty smart as it comes back now to Barry Breen. The old time will have trouble picking that one up, and Cruz goes down. Breen appealing for the free kick, but the umpire won't have a bar of that. Will ball it up about 15 metres out from the St Kilda goal. At the moment, St Kilda 10-10-70 to the Swans 14-13-97. And it, as we said before, coming down here in buckets.
St Kilda's ball taken by Breen. Looking for a free kick for one at the back, but one wasn't being paid by the umpire. Dennis Carroll went without the ball. It must be like trying to pick up a piece of soap out there. Cox tackling hard. Picked up by Booth eventually, trying to find Keel, which he does successfully. Bad handball, back to Torbett, over the head of Keel. Shane Morwood has the chance, likewise Fiddler, and the ball beats both off the Moblin line. It will be a throw-in on the outer side wing. And it does look as though the rain has set in for the afternoon.
Probably for a week. The look at the clouds, Pete.
Had a nice old cloudburst here last Monday. Keel went without the ball. Smith tries to knock it forward, picked up by Burns. Duperuzu. In towards the goal square. The only man there is Bernie Evans, and he takes a very, very easy mark. 15-metre penalty, says umpire Morrow. Now it's play on. He would have penalised the side. Ackley up to half forward. Middle miss, having trouble handling it. Likewise Smith. Bennett is in there. It's flicked out by Hewitt. That could have almost been a throw. Thomas has gone for a short pass. Mark taken by Browning. A bad pass, I dare say, intended for Mace, but certainly poorly directed. Mark Browning, short of the centre. Down towards half forward. Stephen Wright is there for the Swans. Out it goes to Evans. He's covering plenty of territory, isn't he? Gets his shot in, despite attempts by Booth to smother it, and he's put it through for a goal. Full points.
Just on 7.5 minutes, 103 points to the Swans, to St Kilda 70 points, and their game's fallen in a hole at the moment. But a mark going here now to Scott, and got a chance to get their run on again if they possibly can. But it's raining still pretty heavily, and Scott has kicked 3 goals up to this stage of the match. There's the kick by Scott. I think he's hooked that one and through for 1 point. They've lost all concentration at the moment, Bob St Kilda, and not looking at all good.
Well, it's amazing how just when you need the goals the most, now Scott had 3 goals to half-time, and no harder than the 2 that he's missed in this quarter. When you need them, the pressure is on. You just don't quite put the same sort of confidence into it.
There we see Booth, done, I should say, being upended. The ball going out there towards that half-forward line, knocked away cleverly that time by little Evans down there in the back pocket. Still doing a pretty good job for the Swans. In front is Hewitt, couldn't hold the mark. Got one a bit high, picked up by Browning over to Torbert, a high one back to Brady. He goes for the punch looking for Cruz. Cruz tries to force his way through the pack, and the umpire said, well, OK, for a valiant effort, we'll give you a free kick for on the shoulder. So Cruz takes that free kick right on the point of the square in defence for the Swans. Ball booted across the centre half forward. Rhys-Jones in the front, punched away again by Middlemiss, finally picked up by Carroll. Out it goes towards that forward pocket, but a good mark taken in defence by Bennett. Bennett clear of Roberts, goes out towards Blees. Rhys-Jones is in the way there. Still won't give in, this fella's. One thing about him, he's certainly got a lot of determination. And we see appealing for a free kick as Hodges, but the umpire not having a bar. That will be a ball up on the Saints half-back line. Finally, it comes out to Carroll again. He's doing a great job today. Punched away by Bennett. Chance now for Thomas to pick it up. He doesn't take any chance. He's kicked it off the ground, but it goes to little Hounsell. He shows him how to pick it up, snap for a goal, and I think the little fella's put it through for a goal. He has. Good play on the part of Hounsell for goal number 2. 16-13, 109 the Swans. St Kilda 10-11-71.
There's not good defence there by St Kilda. They did punch the ball away in the first place, but then it was kicked out into no man's land, and they did not have a look to see that Hounsell had the advantage and got it and was getting away from Jeff Dunn. Hounsell, though, a very neat goal.
109 to 71 is the score. Still in driving rain, knocked away by Torbert. Good ruck work to Smith. Smith up towards full forward again. Roberts can't take the mark. Was held, looking for a free kick. The umpire calls play on. Fiddler in the goal square. And Rhys-Jones having a little bit of a box on down there with Hodges in the goal square, and it's on down there for young and old. The goal umpire comes out to remonstrate with them. Play in the meantime continues around on the centre wing. The umpire has found a free kick.
No, there's another box on. It's going to be on before the day's over, Peter, I'd reckon. It's been on the verge, hasn't it?
That's right. Little nudges here and there behind the play. Jeff Dunn has the free kick for the Saints. Dunn's gone for a short pass, an ill-directed one. Intercepting is Mark Browning.
Really good move by the Swans to put swap Browning and Cruz, because Mace was on top of Cruz, and likewise Barker on top of Browning, and now they reversed it.
That's a good mark to Craig Grady at half forward. Has kicked 1 goal so far in the match. Let's see how he goes with this one. Would just about get the distance with a dry ball. The wet one predictably dropping a little bit short into the goal square. Fiddler takes the mark, decides to play on. He's gone for a handball. The Saints get out of the danger zone as he's driven up towards the centre wing position. That's Cunningham or Burns. Cunningham, is it? No, Burns. If the blonde hair gets dark, it can become a little bit hard to pick up. So a boundary throw in front of the Brawongal stand. Torbert rucks it well. Handball over the top to Smith. Expertly done from Steve Torbert. Short pass by Smith is a beauty, and the mark taken again by Brady.
Brady's done well in this turn, Pete.
He has, hasn't he? He would be a little bit further out this time, I think. And there it is in replay. Craig Brady hitting the turf. He's got the kick importantly.
I'm not certain what the Swans paid for Stephen Torbert, but whatever it was, so far it's been worth it.
Certainly has. Brady's kick on its way. That's a goal. The Swans go further ahead.
Carroll driving the ball over centre half forward for the Swans, punched away again by Fiddler. Little Wright's juggling the ball in front of Brady there, his teammate, boots it up there looking for Smith, punched away again by the St Kilda defence. Hewitt actually threw that ball away. Finally, it's Thomas driving the ball out towards the wing position, well smothered by Danaher, kicked it back towards Rhys-Jones, taps it out nicely, goes for a short pass. This is a dangerous one. Hewitt goes for the big punch again, punched on by Blees. And there's a go now for Breen, spins away very nicely for Old Timer, and a hand pass coming back now, and a chance for Odgers to drive the ball wide out there to Barker. He's grabbed by Ackley, but gets it back to Duke Perusal. A chance to go for a pass, not a good one. And there's a go for a goal, as we see running into a goal as Meehan, and puts it through for full points. Well, that was a badly needed goal. So it's 17-13, 115 the Swans to St Kilda 11-11, 77. And, well, they've been waiting for a long time. We see Barker getting that hand pass out, nearly holding the ball against him too, Bob.
Oh, he had to give him a little bit of time, and Meehan, who's been a neat player without being a great player throughout today. But it was good play by Breen to get loose from Tony Danaher and get that ball out. And I'm sure he won't appreciate being called old, though, Lou.
No, well, he's not young now. He's played, as we mentioned before, his 299th game, and he's played a fair game without being outstanding. We're just over the 13-minute mark of the third quarter. Knocked out that time by Torbett. Kicked away by Hewitt out wide towards Breen again. This time he's not so successful. Grabbed, he dropped the ball. It'll be a free kick going out there to Danaher on the centre wing position. Well, this fellow's certainly improving with every game too. Short pass, it's okay, and a mark to Torbett. That's the boy that Bob was talking about. Swapped over from Essendon. Scott's well tackled that time, and the umpire said it's holding the ball against him, and the free kick to go to Odgers on the edge of the square for St Kilda. 15-metre penalty. This brings him over the centre now and gives him a chance to drive St Kilda deep into attack. But once again, it's Danaher taking a great mark in defence, and he's played fairly well today too.
Anthony Danaher, one of, I think, 4 Danaher brothers, 2 play with Essendon, and there is a younger one still. Wonder who'll get him. Danaher to half forward. Rhys-Jones in front, has it knocked away from him. Cunningham fires it out, picked up by Colin Hounsell. Hounsell wide towards the right half forward flank. Roberts doesn't get a kindly bounce, and picked up by Odgers. Calling for it is Bennett. Doesn't quite go far enough for him, so Odgers does the work himself. To Doug Cox. Cox is on centre wing, gets around Brady okay. Cox, that long kick. Breen in the middle of 2 Swans players, and Barry wins out. Oh, got one too high. Stephen Wright takes hold of the ball and boots it long for the Swans up towards half forward. Doug Booth is there. Booth from the point of the square in front. Torbett again. Knocks it over the head of Breen. Burns is there. The players stopping, looking for free kicks instead of keeping going, and umpire Jeff Morrow has decided to break up the wrestle with a ball up.
I think Barry Breen's getting a little tired out there.
Well, I don't blame him. I think they all might be. So a ball up on the point of the square with the Swans still in the lead, 115 points to 77. Seem to be Swans players everywhere. Smith. Rhys-Jones in middle miss. Roberts again doesn't get a good bounce. Booth can't pick it up. Fashini shows him how to do it. Odgers a little bit late on the scene with the tackle. Rhys-Jones over to Roberts. Roberts from 30 metres out in front of goal has had a shot and has put it through for one behind. So one behind, kicked by John Roberts, 17-14. 116 the Swans, leading St Kilda 11-11, 77.
Waiting for the ball to come back into play, and St Kilda not looking very good at the moment. Breeze dropped completely now, Bob. There's not a move in those flags. It's knocked out to right. A hand pass over to Smith. Running into an open goal. Let's fly, and the result is 6 points on the board for the Swans. So their score, 18-14, 122 to St Kilda, 11-11, 77. Rather disappointing display by St Kilda in this second half after performing so well, particularly in that first quarter and a half.
Yes, but since then, 2 of the players involved in that, it was Stephen Wright to give the hand pass over to Greg Smith, and Evans has been a good player since coming back onto the ground, so the smaller South players have really come to light in this term.
Torbett and Booth. Knocked out by Torbett, smothered by Hewitt, missed the ball completely, nicely backed up by Keogh. A long kick up there towards Carter and Scott. Carter's there first, plays it safe and forces the ball out of bounds in the St Kilda forward pocket position about 10 metres around from their goal. Waiting now for the umpire to bring the ball back into play. About 18 minutes gone of this third quarter, and the Swans doing it pretty well at the moment. The back there is Cruz, knocked it out to Browning, a quick hand pass out to Evans, another one to Ackley, and they're doing as they like at the moment down there in defence, the Swans. Nearly a mark to Brady, the umpire not paying that as it's finally picked up by Burns, shot down towards the forward pocket. Nicely taken off the pack by Hewitt, a snap for goal, will it make the distance? Forced through again by Danaher for another point, so they just can't get that couple of goals they badly need. So it's 18-14, 122 the Swans to St Kilda 11-12, 78. As we wait now for the ball to come back into play. Still pretty overcast and more rain to come, I would say, at the back of the Bradman stand, Peter.
Pretty dark, doesn't it?
Very dark indeed.
Carter. Torbett in front. Free kick. Play on, says the umpire. Ackley will do just that. And that's a beautiful kick too. Plenty of distance up to the half-forward line. Meehan. Oh, and well tackled. It was Odgers actually. Rhys-Jones flicks it out to right. Here's some danger for the St Kilda side again. Brady onto right. Gets through two players. Shoots with the left foot. No mistake again. Stephen Wright once more does it for the Swans. Wright bringing up his first goal for the afternoon. And the Swans 19-14, 128. St Kilda 11-12, 78.
I can only reiterate what I said before about Stephen Torbett. He is getting the ball away from the ruck, and Rhys-Jones is doing a fine job across that forward line, and Brady getting that hand pass out to Stephen Wright. Those players have all been right in the thick of things, as well as the three smaller players, or four smaller players, Evans, Fashini, Wright, and the other small player there, of course, Greg Smith.
Yeah, Greg Smith very, very consistent.
Not to mention Carroll on the wing.
Oh, Carroll's played a great game, Bob.
Well, the Saints now trailing by 50 points, and they really do have the job in front of them. 50 points the difference in favour of the Swans, 78-128. Again knocked down by Torbett, doing a mammoth job at the centre bouncers. Brady's hand pass is effective, taken by Hounsell. Up towards left half forward, and the mark to Roberts. John Roberts, the full forward for the Swans, has kicked 3 so far this afternoon, and despite the rain and the wind, she is kicking against, has a chance to make the difference, 56 points. So the Swans really do look as though they are finally going to crack it here for a win after a run of outs. Off target, one behind. 51 points the difference. 19-15 to 11-12. That's 129-78.
21 minutes gone of the third quarter, and I'll bet St Kilda will be pleased when this one's over too. It's been a bad one as it comes out the right, gets away from Odgers beautifully that time. He's played a great little game too. A short pass to Smith, another one of their stars, and he takes the mark and quickly plays on out there that half-forward line, runs into an open goal, fires, and that's right through the middle again, if you don't mind, as Jack Dyer would say. If you don't mind, umpire. 20 goals, 15, 135 the Swans to St Kilda 11-12, 78.
Call it an experience, call it whatever you like, but to allow Greg Smith to play on there was, well, a bad defence. And we see how easily Odgers there lost concentration and allowed Smith to play on, gain an extra 20 metres or so from where he actually marked the ball, and the result, 1 goal.
135 the Swans to St Kilda 78. They're getting a nice drubbing in this third quarter. Torbett again against the big fella, Booth. Torbett got the knockout. This time it's to Burns. A hurried kick back towards Barker. Du Peruzal coming out. A hand pass over to Keogh. Up there towards Scott and Carter, but Carter's got him well covered and beats him pointless that time. Strong player, Carter. He's done very well in defence every time we've watched him play up here at the Sydney Cricket Ground. A nice pass out there to Bernie Evans. These little Swans are cutting St Kilda to pieces. Out towards Rhys-Jones. Got under that one. He and Middle Miss are having a bit of a ding-dong struggle there. Finally backed by Cox. A hand pass coming out now. A chance for Odgers to get it clear. Back it goes towards Meehan. Should pick this up okay. He does, and drives it back there towards a chance for Middle Miss to grab this mark, and he does. Well, he's got a chance to score here from about...
he was about to hand pass there.
Yes, he nearly went off. Chance here now for him to score a goal from about 15 metres out. That was a strong mark indeed by Middle Miss.
It was a good mark. Middle Miss, of course, has been playing in the pocket, now down on the forward line, in the back pocket, and now on the forward line.
See whether he can get this goal, because to say it is a badly needed one would be the understatement of the year. Kick. Yes, it's a goal. So that's their second goal for the quarter. St Kilda 20 goals, 15, 135. The Swans to St Kilda 12-12, 84.
Well, Middle Miss now looks as though he's down at centre half forward, or the half forward flank, but probably more centre half forward, with Barry Breen down at full back against John Roberts.
And two of the Swans on the boundary line warming up. It has become particularly cold after that cold front moved in at half time. And I dare say they'll be feeling it down there on the boundary line. Another new ball, as it looks like. That's about the third or fourth for the afternoon, so it is proving to be a rather expensive exercise as we enter the time-on period.
They're learning quickly up in Sydney, aren't they?
They are indeed. The Swans, incidentally, this quarter have kicked 7 goals too, so that really has been a splendid effort by them, and I would reckon that would just about sew the match up for them. It would take a remarkable turnaround by the Saints to get back into it in the final quarter. 25.5 minutes gone, third term. That was Burns. Half forward is Lucas. Half back, if you prefer it that way, for the Swans. Picked up by Bennett. Bennett's kick out towards half forward again, off the hands of Cruz. Duperouza was there. Actually, I think tripped over the ball. Barker. Almost taken by Middle Miss. Danaher's right there with him. Ackley comes in to lend assistance. Big pack developing, and it will be a ball up in front of the hill, which is sparsely populated at the moment in view of the persistent rain falling, although it's certainly not as heavy as it was. Knocked down to Carroll. Out of bounds. Once more a throw in, this time a little bit further around the boundary line. And who is that? Jeff Dunn. If we can tilt up, it is Jeff Dunn. Painkiller on the knee. Let's hope that's okay. Knocked down by Talbot. He's doing a great job in the ruck, and certainly he will be in line for best in ground honours this afternoon, as Bob Skilton pointed out before. A very, very good bye. That's taken by Lucas. Lucas up towards the centre field area. Plenty of South players are there. Getting ridden into the ground was Brady. A push in the back, says umpire Dargaville. Craig Brady will take the free kick at centre field. Right half forward for the Swans. Smith taking it in front of Bennett. Too much latitude by the Saints defenders down there. And you recall not long back Smith was allowed play on, or to play on, and got him another 15 metres, and he put it through for his third goal. Short pass to Roberts is a gem.
And that's seen them any better than that.
No.
Any time, old, new, whatever you like. That was a beautiful pass.
It was indeed, and Roberts made no mistake. He'd be suffering from chest pains at the moment, I think. John Roberts has kicked 3 goals so far for the Swans. On the angle, let's see how he fires at the Bradman stand end. Goal umpire does not move. 1 goal. John Roberts is 4th for the afternoon, and the Swans really wrapping the match up here in the closing stages of the third term. 21-15, 141 to 12-12, 84.
Well, it's 8 goals 4 in this term after 8 goals 6 in the second, and we see that pass once again straight onto the chest, giving the full-back Barry Breen absolutely no chance whatsoever. And there's not much any full-back can do about those ones, Lewis.
Certainly not, Bob. 26 minutes gone of this third quarter. Back to the centre again. Knocked out by Talbot, grabbed by Hodges. Then he fumbled that one, and he finally gets a hand pass out through Browning. They're all missing at the moment. Very slippery out there, and the umpire will ball it up down towards the St Kilda centre half forward position. Knocked out by Talbot again. Little Scott couldn't get clear, but the umpire said he was grabbed when he didn't have the ball, and Scott will take the free kick at centre field. Well, up over centre half forward for the Swans. The pack fly. There's about 14 go for that. Barry Breen's amongst the thick of things. Thomas gets it out to Cox. He breaks clear nicely at centre half back. Now he's going for a long kick over centre half forward. Ball tapped out, nicely picked away from Middle Miss that time by Cruz. Out wide towards that half back line. There's a race going on between Blease and Carroll. Blease is there first, goes for a hand pass. He's put Bennett under plenty of pressure. He's grabbed but gets away from Rhys-Jones, but it's a bad kick and an easy mark taken in defence by Ackley. Well, they've got him well bottled up at the moment. It's not about that. Ackley down there on that back pocket goes for a short pass. Punched away from Talbot. Now it's a chance for Barker to get a hand pass over to Hodges, running into an open goal. Doesn't make the distance. It goes right across the goals. There's a good mark taken there by Ricky Craig's nephew. That's Lucas. Oh, Ricky'd be pleased about that mark.
Exceptionally pleased.
Good mark in defence. And the Swans doing it pretty easy at the moment as Talbot gets buffeted out of the pack. May have staged a little bit, but the umpire's going to pay the free kick. And Talbot to take that free kick out there at half-back. Another short pass. They've got plenty of loose men at the moment as Danaher takes the mark. Over it goes to Wright. Gets it on the first volley that time. Looking up there for a pass to Smith. It's okay, and Smith's got the mark about 30 metres out from goal directly in front. And Smith's already kicked 3 goals. Well, we certainly sing the praises of this guy, but we're yet to see him play a bad game up here at the Sydney Cricket Ground. He's been a great asset to them, and he's played a great game again today.
While he's lining up, I can only repeat that report before. Stephen Talbot today is really showing that South will be happy with the money spent.
And South would be happy about that goal that Smith just kicked. And Smith has taken had 15 kicks, 8 marks.
And has kicked 4 goals, Luke.
Not a bad effort. 22-15, 147 to St Kilda 12-12. And their point score is 84.
There's not much more you can add to those stats, Bob, is there? Because it has been a very, very good performance by Smith. And he's got a few mates. That's their 9th goal this term. Swans well and truly on their way to victory here this afternoon. Brady crashes his way through the pack, flicks out the handball. Shane Morwood takes it, in turn gives it over to another teammate down there, and Dennis Carroll. A long kick by Carroll up towards John Robertson Breen. Breen succeeds in getting it over the boundary line in front of Wright, and it will be thrown in front of the Bradman stand about 25 metres from the goal. And Swan supporters back in Melbourne or wherever would be very happy with their display. Bennett knocks the ball clear and taken away for St Kilda. The ball driven up towards the centre wing or centre field area. Mark taken by Mace. A wobbly punt kick doesn't travel much distance. Scott can't take the mark. Cruz backing up well for the Swans, well smothered by Meehan. Cruz has to go through it all again. Then he gets grabbed twice, first of all by Duperuzal and then by Barker, and the mark taken by Smith. The ubiquitous Smith. He's everywhere, isn't he?
Just thinking that Jesselenko must think he's twins.
3/4 time siren, and it has been indeed a very good quarter for the Swans. They kicked 9 goals that term, 22 goals 15, 147 to St Kilda 12-12, 84.
Don't forget the after-match function at the Randwick Picnic on tonight. Joining the Brothers.
Right, well, welcome back to the Sydney Cricket Ground, and again another very good quarter by the Swans. After kicking 8 goals, 6 in the second term, they topped that in that quarter by adding 9 goals, 4 to their total, whereas St Kilda could put on the board a measly 2 goals, 4. So 2 bad quarters of football by the Saints after they led at quarter time by 6-4 to 5-5. Bob Skilton, what's brought around the transformation?
Well, I think it's the smaller players, really, and by that I will put Dennis Carroll in the smaller player category, but across the centre with Carroll, Scott on top there. Hounsell has also been a fine winger. The Fashini, who we see there now, a very elated Silvio Fashini. He and the other small players around the packs. Greg Smith has been absolutely magnificent, and I know it sounds as though we repeat ourselves, but you can't help. But any superlative you'd like to use about Greg Smith today, this year, would, I think if the best and fairest was counted right now, he'd probably win it by 4 streets, not just 1 or 2. Yep. And well, we can get through the smaller players. Stephen Wright, Bernie Evans coming back onto the ground after getting an eye injury early, was all over the place in that quarter, and they have been given great assistance. And 2 of the South Melbourne imports, and by that is Talbot from Essendon, and Grady in that quarter was magnificent at centre half forward, and they really did their job. They were the key players. The rest of them did lend their support. For St Kilda, well, they're a bit unfortunate that Barker's gone out of the game. Duperuzal, 3 goals in the first half, nowhere near as good as Greg Smith, and naturally a very happy Greg Smith. Maybe not so happy with the injury that he might have, but certainly a great performance so far. But not many of the St Kilda players could have been particularly proud of their third quarter effort. They have made numerous changes as Barry Round comes off the ground. Again, we see one of the highlights, Stephen Wright getting the ball out to Bernie Evans. They were two of the smaller players. But you could take nothing away from the defence of the Swans. They did get on top across there, but they were really cut to pieces by the freer-flowing centre line and ruck rovers and rovers.
Bob, over the last couple of weeks, we have been a little bit critical of John Roberts at full forward, but you couldn't fault his game today, could you?
No, both he and Silvio Fascini have done the job that is required. They have kept the ball in the forward line, competed and fought like mad to keep the ball there instead of just relying on getting the ball themselves. And Roberts with 4 goals, and he's given a couple of others away. Fascini with 3, and also has given a couple away.
So just about set for the final quarter, 147 to 84. Umpire Darkville starts proceedings in the final term with the Swans holding an unbeatable lead, it would seem. However, they had a very good lead against Essendon that had lost the match. Thomas, Evans. High over the head of Fascini. Roberts pushed Breen almost in the back, picked up by Rhys-Jones. He has a snapshot at goal, going very, very close, and the mark taken down there on the last line of defence for St.Kilda by Bennett. Bennett bringing it around the Bwongal stand wing, very close to the boundary line of the full, but it will be a boundary throw-in between the wing and right half forward. Swans have just been too good in the last 2 quarters. Torbett.
A fair long time ago, that 1919, their highest score.
Booth. Hewitt. Stephen Wright going in very solidly for the Swans. Comes out with the ball. That was well done. On to Torbett. Torbett's handball effective to Smith. They're 2 of their best players, actually. Not necessarily in that order, though. And the mark again taken by Brady. Craig Brady is at right half forward. About 50 metres out from goal, and he has a chance to put the Swans further ahead. And you are seeing correctly, the sun is out here after we had that very heavy rain during half-time in the 3rd quarter. Into the goal square. And almost a Swans mark to Roberts. He's got it. John Roberts on the boundary line. The opportunity to bring up goal number 5. As we look at that again in replay, I don't think there was any doubt that it was a mark. Roberts getting his hands on it first and last. What's he done with that one? I think he's threaded it through. It's a goal. 5 goals to John Roberts from full forward, 23-15, 153 to St Kilda, 12-12, 84.
Yes, well, today we're seeing the John Roberts that was recruited for exactly that, to be a fine mark as we see the lights and possibly the rain coming again. But there's certainly a bit of rain in that cloud there, Lou.
Yes, it's a beautiful scene. I wish I'd have brought me brushes. Could have painted it, Peter.
What sort of brushes you need?
I knew that'd sparkle you up a bit, but about 2 minutes gone of this last quarter, and the Swans doing it very easy. A bad quarter by St Kilda, the 3rd one. Knocked out by Torbett again, dominating the ruck, and the ball finally driven over St Kilda's half-forward line by Hewitt, coming out the metre at Cruz, and he's played a fair game too since going to centre half back on Roberts. Had him well covered. Pushed away that time by Morwood. Down goes Burns. In there is Brady. Finally, little careless caught. There's plenty of scrambling going on at the moment, and the umpire's going to ball it up at centre half forward for the Swans.
It's been an exceptionally good move of Browning away from Barker and Cruz onto him.
Certainly had him well covered, because Barker was a dangerous player in that first quarter and a half, but things have changed since then. I still believe that Barker does tire himself out by flinging himself at those marks all the time. Makes really hard work, but finally down to Scott. The ball back out towards the forward pocket for the Swans. Coming out to meet it is Barry Breen. Got it on the first up that time. Not a very good kick. Well covered by Carroll. Carroll gets a hand pass back to no man's land then. And once again it's Hewitt picking up. The umpire was going to pay a free kick. Called play on. Short pass. Over it goes to Mace. He started off well, but he's been out of the picture too. Down he goes. Browning's on his back. He still can't get it away clear. And the umpire's going to ball it up in centre field. At the moment, the Swans 23-15, 153 to St Kilda 12-12, 84. The bounce at centre field again. Torbett gets a tap out. Intercepted that time by Hewitt. It's a kick up there towards full forward. Scott and Carter having a great battle there. Scott got his hands but couldn't hold the mark. Oh, he upended Ackley that time, middle miss. Carter's tackle. The umpire said it's dropping the ball, and the free kick will go to the St Kilda skipper, do Perusal. So he's only about 20 metres out from goal directly in front. And boy, do they badly need a goal. 12-12 to 23-15. Duke Perusal's kicked 3 goals up to this stage of the match. He spent most of the time in the forward pocket.
He has been almost a permanent forward pocket for quite some weeks now, Lou.
Here we wait now for Duke Perusal to have that shot at goal. Didn't even make the disc. That was a shock, a chance for Danaher, and the umpires paid the mark right on the edge of the line. They were across the goals.
Anthony Danaher has been quite serviceable in defence too for his side this afternoon. Talbot in front, has it knocked away by Booth. Back to Meehan. Meehan's gone for a short pass, and everybody slipping over. It counted for St Kilda. Cruz, well caught by Keel after he got it from Evans. Picked up by Keel. He has a snapshot at goal. That's off target, out of bounds on the full, and it will be a free kick to St Kilda.
Great effort by Cruz there, who after trying to make them, he made the mistake and was then able to just put Keel off.
Played very well, Cruz, since going on to Barker. Bobby's put him right out of business.
He certainly has.
Free kick to Carter in the back pocket. Talbot and Booth. Knocked away by the latter. Mason got a bump from Burns, then his own teammate. Council went without the ball. Nobody making much headway out there. Very, very scrambly play. Not helped, of course, by the heavy rain we did have for in excess of half an hour. Talbot and Booth down towards Jeff Dunn. Middle miss, misses it. Scooped out by Danaher towards the boundary line. In fact, it's too fast for Ackley, and we'll see it thrown in the forward pocket in front of the Bradman stand. Score in the final term, 84 points to 153, with the Swans in front and doing it quite well. Their 6th win of the season coming up, it would appear. Knocked away by Talbot again. The umpire has found a free kick. It will go to Steve Talbot, I think. Yes, it has.
Peter, it's a fine effort by South over the Swans today, because they lost 3 players at the start of this match before out of the selected side, and the 2 Morwards and their skipper Barry Round.
Yes, and of course St Kilda also without their top ruckman Lou, so I guess in the ruck situation it levelled itself off, but they have done well without Round. They answered that question certainly. Roberts could have infringed by pushing his opponent in the back. Green has the ball, but umpire Dargable has decided to ball it up right on the point of the square. Still very slippery conditions after that rain we had. Knocked away by Booth. Got it out well. Knocked onto Keel by Thomas. Well caught by Rhys-Jones. Out it comes to Blease. Not making much headway. Now he's gone for the handball. That's effective. Fiddler is in the centre of the ground. He too has gone for a short pass. It's too long for his teammate, that was, and picked up by Lucas and driven up towards the half-forward line. Brady has done quite a few useful things since he came on. Over to Hounsell. Hounsell from centre field. Up towards full forward. Smith, here he is. Another goal. 5 goals to Smith. A very, very good player for the Swans this afternoon. And the score is 24-15. 159 points to the Swans, leading St Kilda 12-12-84.
Of course, their highest score against St Kilda was 29-15. They've only got 5 more to go to equal that. And that was kicked in 1919 by our stats, Bob.
Yes, that's quite a few years ago, Lou, but were you playing then?
I just retired. Thank you very much.
Greg Smith, a fine player.
Centre bounce again. Ball knocked out there towards Burns. He's in plenty of trouble. Tap back towards Keel. A hand pass coming over to Booth. Back to Burns again. Oh, they're messing about. Dunn couldn't pick that one up. A bit of a fumble going on. We see Middlemiss and Scott having a battle, but it'll be a ball up on the edge of the square at St Kilda's centre half forward position. 24 goals, 15, which is pretty good kicking by the Swans, to St Kilda 12-12-84. Back there towards Scott again. He fumbled the ball. Barker couldn't pick it up. Kicked off the ground virtually by Evans. Back towards the centre of the ground. Coming in to meet it now is Thomas. A long kick up there towards the full forward position. It's Ackley and Du Perusal going after, but Ackley once again is the front man. Gets the ball out wide. And there's a chance now for the ball to be picked up by Evans. Oh, he got around Blease very easy that time. Boots the ball back over the Swans half-forward line, and Brady's got another mark. And as we said during the commentary in that third quarter, he played a great game. A short pass, and there's Rhys-Jones to take the mark. 7 marks to Brady. That's not a bad effort. So Rhys-Jones with a chance to score another goal and make it only 4 goals towards their highest score against St Kilda. That's the big interest now, Pete, I would say.
Much else, Lou.
Waiting on Rhys-Jones from about 25 metres. Hello, he's hooked that one across there in front of goal, but they all fly. The ball knocked down there to Hodges, gets it out wide. Coming in to meet it, Scott and Burns. Scott's got the run here, but bounces right for him. Taps it on nicely. Oh, good play by Scott. Still going after it. He's beaten about 4 of them there as he has a shot back there towards Brady again. Roberts is there. Brady is forced nearly over the line, but taps it out of bounds in the forward pocket right against the point post. A chance now for the Swans to get another goal. Leeds to go for this knockout with Brady. Brady grabs it, trying to shark it away. Finally kicked out towards that half-back line. And it'll be going towards the band. There's a chance now for little Fiddler to get a hand pass back. Back it comes there from Booth over to Fiddler again, but he's a little bit slow that time and well tackled. Umpire said it's holding the man.
A little bit too long to get rid of it. Ackley breaking clear, but the umpire has decided to bring the ball back, having already whistled time on. Fashini takes the kick.
No, it's the other way.
It is going the other way. I thought it was. Fiddler. No mark paid. Danaher. Now towards Carroll to Cruz. Cruz from the right half-back flank. Shane Morwood. Well tackled by Cox over the head of Rhys-Jones. Going through solidly was Bennett, but without the ball. Rhys-Jones putting in solidly and wins out. Oh, Cox head-high tackle again, and it will be a free kick. And Rhys-Jones hamming that one up a little bit.
I reckon he'd get nominated for the Oscar for that one.
That's right. And umpire Jeff Morrow was right on the spot. Taken by Scott. Up to full forward. John Roberts got a hand to it. Through for 1 point. And that takes the score to 24 goals, 16. 160 points to St Kilda, 12-12-84. The attendance 10,034. And St Kilda have yet to score so far in the final term. But that guy doesn't keep winding it. He did last time. It went up by about 4,000.
I don't think he will today.
No. Stephen Wright. A short pass to Brady, mark number 8.
That crowd amazes me because, you know, it's a fairly good crowd considering St Kilda's position on the league ladder and the type of day it is.
Looking at Craig Brady now, Lou, if you walked into the ground at half-time, you would imagine that Brady would be close to the best player on the ground.
That's right, yes.
Well, he has been in the second half, hasn't he? As Dunn comes off the ground, but Brady takes his kick at goal. Looks okay, judging by the crowd reaction, it is. And Brady brings up his 3rd goal for the afternoon. And 25-16, 166 the score by the Swans. St Kilda 12-12-84. It's a bath.
And they need only 3 goals, 5 to equal their highest score ever against St Kilda, Pete. Dunn going up the stairs. Well, he hasn't played well, but he's certainly not Robinson Crusoe as far as his team is concerned, because they've had a lot of bad players today. There's the runner talking to Shane Moore. I don't know what for, because they're a mile in front. Centre bounce again. Torbett gets the knockout. He's dominated that. Back to Brady. Nice tap out there towards Hounsell. Coming in to meet it now as Browning scoops it up nicely. Runs around in circles. Made hard work of this. He actually threw that back to Hounsell, but the ball coming back now towards Morwood, and that little talk may have done Morwood the world of good. Yeah, a pig's eye. Short pass. And a mark taken here by Scott. Scott and Burns have had a pretty good tussle today, but I reckon Scott's been the far more effective player. The kick by Scott is a long one, and I think he's lobbed it right, hit the post, right at the top there where the umpire indicates. So that's another point. So the score is now 25 goals, 17, 167. The Swans to St Kilda virtually stagnating on that score of 12-12-84. There's another good mark to Scott again. A hand pass coming over. There's a chance for a goal, I would say, coming up by Hounsell, and it's right through the middle. That's goal number 3 to Hounsell. And of course the Swans move on now to 26-17, 173 to St Kilda 12-12-84. He's played a fair game too, hasn't he?
He has played well. They've had a winning centre line with Dennis Carroll, Brett Scott and Colin Hounsell, and it was great play by Scott there to win the ball on 2 separate occasions and give a nice hand pass out to Colin Hounsell, and those 3 players across there. But since half-time, you could include the whole side. St Kilda have fallen away completely. They've applied no pressure. Those players who were defensive in the first half and going and tagging the South smaller players and did a reasonable job really falling away in the second half.
There's another new ball. There's 4 gone off today. Tell you what.
Might be...
And St Kilda, incidentally, Pete, haven't scored since the 24-minute of the third quarter.
And they don't look like it at the moment, Lou, either.
A couple of raffles tomorrow night in the local pub.
I would say so.
Footballs.
173 to 84. The Swans swing into attack again. You don't need me to tell you who kicked that ball. It was Smith for kick number 11, knocked away by Breen from John Roberts over the boundary line of the forward pocket, and the throw-in to be effected about 10 metres from the goal. 19 kicks to Smith so far in the match. I would probably hazard a guess you could double that, and for handballs too. Taken by Roberts. It's a free kick to Brady. What was that for, Bob?
Yeah, Thomas pushed him out well before the actual piece of play.
So Craig Brady has the opportunity to bring up his 4th goal. It's getting difficult looking at these statistics here. The goal kickers look like a picket fence at the moment. As Brady has a shot at goal, and he's made no mistake about that. And that is 4 goals to Craig Brady. 27-17, 179 points to St Kilda, 12-12, 84.
Craig Brady's 4 goals have all been in the second half, because he came on to replace the injured Stephen Allender just before half-time. Went straight to centre-half forward. From that moment, Stephen Torbett, who had already been doing a good job there, took over in the ruck, and Brady has certainly taken over at centre-half forward.
Back into the centre. Knocked away by Booth. And picked up by Darryl Hewitt. The Saints at half forward, and that's a mark. Who's nice and clean down there, Elphinston. We haven't seen him on the field for a while. I think he departed the scene in the first quarter.
The St Kilda interchange bench looks a very lonely spot at the present moment. No players down there, and it's really... There were only 3 there.
That's the first score of the final quarter for the Saints, Bob, and it's rushed through.
It's their first score since the 24-minute mark of the third quarter.
So the score 12-13, 85 to 27-17, 179.
And they need 2 goals, 4 to equal their record. Record score against St Kilda. There's someone down there. We can't quite pick him up at the moment. He's smothered by the trainers. The ball out to Evans. Tries to spin away from the puck. He does get a hand pass out there a little right.
Maybe Mace, Lou.
Yes, and certainly got it down. There's a chance for Brady, doing a great job since half-time. He's been a sensation. There's little Hounsell. Well, he can keep on naming the best Swans players all day as it goes up to Robertson Breen. Punched away by Breen. Down goes right, and the ball goes out of bounds in the forward pocket with another chance for the Swans to score. It's Mace in a bit of trouble out there for St Kilda.
Ankle, I think.
That's a bit of bad luck. Ball back into play again. Brady gets it back, looking for Roberts. Finally, Shane Warwood tries to crash through the pack. Out it comes now, and finally picked up by Hewitt down there. Out wide, a mark taken by Meehan. Some of these players are bobbing up there, but you haven't seen them for most matches. They've really been out of business, and that's a good mark taken out there by Booth. Hand pass coming over now to Bennett. Ball shot down there towards the full forward position. Scott put out of position very easily, and a good mark in defence taken there by Carter.
The St Kilda interchange benches, Kevin Roberts, Jimmy Guyot and Ron Key, all former players, but unfortunately they can't come on.
Well, if they did, they'd certainly show some of their players here how to play, because there's a very weak effort put up here today, particularly since half-time by St Kilda. Danaher had a ton of time to pick them up after fumbling the bounce that time. Chance for Blees to mark. He takes the mark out there on the edge of the square. Over the centre-half forward position it goes. There's a chance now for Middlemist to score a goal. A hand pass coming over there to Elphinston, and that's their first goal for the quarter. And a very weak effort clap from the crowd here. 27 goals, 17, 179 the Swans. To St Kilda, 13, 91, and coming off the ground is Mace.
I'm not quite sure who's going to come back on, Lou. They indicated for somebody to come down.
Or Alec Jezelenko. Jeff Dunn. Very good right arm in the plane tonight, I shouldn't imagine.
Yes, Dunn limping, and what's his name, Mace is limping, so obviously Dunn isn't as badly off as Mace. You can see Jeff Dunn, the worse for wear, back onto the field. Ball back into the centre. 179 points to 91. Brady over towards Thomas. Thomas breaks clear. Handball to Barker. Barker knocks it on to Blees. Blees from half forward. A long hand pass again down to Burns. Burns from the pocket shoots it goal, and it will just get in, almost hit the post. And St Kilda add maybe a little bit of respectability to their score. 14-13, 97 to the Swans, 27-17, 179. Now, who kicked that one? I've almost forgotten.
Burns.
Burns.
We see it again now as Thomas takes the ball out of the centre, gives the hand pass over the top. Barker, in fine style, taps the ball onto Blease. Blease gets the hand pass out to Burns, and well, Burns shows his real skills there because there's a right foot kick. That time put the left foot through the centre.
179 to 97. De Peruzal having a run on the ball, it would appear. That's been a rarity here this afternoon. The umpire has found a free kick to the Swans, and it will be taken by Colin Hounsell. Hounsell from the centre circle. Dying moments of the game here at the SCG on a very cool afternoon. Odgers gets flattened for his trouble. Rhys-Jones gets it out to right. He'll have a shot at goal from 30 metres out, and he has put it through for, it looks like a goal. He has, and Wright bringing up his second for the afternoon. The Swans running right away with this match. 28 goals, 17 behind, 185 points. St.Kilda 14-13, 97.
Well, they only need one more goal and they've broken the record. A score against St.Kilda, which was created in 1919. Was Genie in a bit of trouble? Looks as though it could be his arm. So we're back to the centre. It's bad luck. He's played a great game today. Gee, that can's a marvel, isn't it? That's painkiller.
I wish they'd have had it in my day.
Also, well, a shocking display put up here by St Kilda, and but then again, it wouldn't be fair to take all the credit away from the Swans because they've played very well since half-time. It'll be Talbot against Booth. Talbot gets it out again. Back there towards Grady. Grady's grabbed, tried to get a kick. Finally, it's picked up by Thomas. A hand pass coming out to Barker. He's completely disappeared since half-time. A long kick up there towards Dunn. Dunn having a bit of trouble. Finally taps it back. Chance for Scott now. Gets around an opponent. He's grabbed, got a chance to score another goal. And he's lobbed it right through the middle. So, it's still 28-17, 185 the Swans to St Kilda 15-13, 103, and we're just over the 21.5-minute mark of this last quarter as we watch that in replay.
A good play by Jeff Dunn there to tap the ball back and give Scott the chance of bringing up his fourth goal. And Dunn obviously injured because he was actually in the dressing rooms and not on the interchange bench at all. And he came back out onto the ground when Mace had to go off. And so great play by Dunn to give the ball back to Scott.
An aggregate of 43 goals kicked here this afternoon, so despite the conditions, the forwards have been well on top.
Talbot once again getting another chance to knock the ball out. He's just about got everyone since going into the ruck. That time Booth got it out, picked up nicely by Keel over to Elphinston, goes for a kick down there towards Scott again. He's got the front posse, punched away nicely by Carter. Backs up well, couldn't pick it up, finally picked up by Mean, grabbed by Morwood, and the umpire's going to ball it up out there towards the half-forward flank position for St Kilda. St Kilda at the moment of 15-13, 103 to the Swans 28-17, 185.
Ball up to take place. Right half forward for the Saints. Talbot to Hounsell. Cox is right on his hammer. It will be out of bounds, and the subsequent boundary throw-in almost in the identical position. Booth and Talbot. Once again, Talbot to Shane Morwood. Out to Elphinston. Ball is high towards full-back or full-forward, and the mark taken down there by Anthony Danaher. Swans too tall, too fast, too good. Ackley. Ackley decides to go back and take the kick wisely. Carroll and Blease over the top was Brady. Hand passes to Cunningham, or Burns it is. Burns, a long kick up towards the goal square. Scott can't complete the mark. Middlemas comes in to assist him and deals one out in no uncertain terms. Well, I guess that's a little bit of frustration. And a ball up, says umpire Morrow, on the edge of the square. Knocked down by Burns, actually, and taken by Danaher. No opposition except from the umpire, and he got out of his road okay. Bouncing towards the half-back line, and Bruce de Peruzal picking it up for St Kilda. A short pass, an errant one. Mark taken by Smith. His short pass in towards the centre. Shane Morwood looks for Browning. Browning at centre field. A wobbly punt kick will get to around about right half forward flank. Brady fights it out well, the big guy. Down he goes on the boundary line after being put out of business by Odgers. It will be a boundary throw into the Swans forward pocket in the dying stages of this match. There can't be too much time left. Blees in front. Does the ruck work successfully to Keel. Odgers, well tackled by Wright. The knock on, past Keel and taken away by Thomas for St Kilda. Thomas's kick is up to the centre wing position.
24.5 minutes gone of this last quarter, and a pretty easy win, or a very easy win for the Swans. 28-17 to St Kilda 15-13. Ball out of bounds on the centre wing position. Talbot against Booth for the knockout. Booth gets in the front posse, but Talbot still gets the knockout. Punched on again by Carroll out towards that half forward line for there's little Wright. He was grabbed, didn't have the ball that time, but it's out of bounds again. He's paying the free kick. He spotted it about 5 minutes late, but he got it.
He played the second time.
Yes, he might have too, but short pass by Wright across there. Oh, they all missed that, and so did Breen. Went right just about burst between his legs. A hand pass coming out here now to Bennett on that boundary line. Goes for a kick. Not going to pay that a mark, is he?
I think so.
They went about 5 metres.
Oh, sympathy job.
I think it could have been. Anyway, let's knock him as we get a hand pass coming back here now. Good play by Duperuzal. But he's grabbed a well tackled by Wright, and a free kick will go against the St Kilda skipper. And Wright to take that free kick on that half forward line. Kick by Carroll is down towards the forward pocket. It's Breen, and there's a go for a goal for Brady now. Get a hand pass over to... now it's holding the ball against him. A bit of a box on there between Brady and Thomas. But the free kick will go against him, and he'll take that free kick down the back pocket, Thomas. Shot out there towards Blees. He missed that completely. Finally, the ball comes back to Little Hounsell, pounced on top of it. He's going after again. He copped up that time. Keel's kick is smothered. Back to Evans. Evans gets a hurried kick back there towards the full forward position. Finally, we see Roberts going there. Got a chance to score a goal here. Hand pass to Fashini. That's a goal. And that's the record score for the Swans against St Kilda. 29-17, 191. They created that record in 1919. 29-15 was the best before that to St Kilda. 15-13, 103. That's all we've got to look for at the moment, because it's been a pretty pathetic effort put up by St Kilda here today.
Once again, John Roberts playing the type of game that Ricky Quaid would want from him, really setting things up for Silvio Fashini.
Ball knocked out by Talbot, not a good one. A bit of a fumble by Booth, goes after it again. Carroll's in there too. It's forced out towards Rhys-Jones. A hand pass to Cruz, who certainly put Barker out of business. Right again, a long hand pass coming over to Smith, the best player on the ground. Fires for the goals, but being a little bit sympathetic there. Roberts is going quick. I was sitting in the goal square on my own. He didn't pass it, but it doesn't matter, because the score at the moment is well in front for the Swans. They're 29 goals, 18, 192 to St Kilda 15-13, 103.
89 points the difference.
St Kilda will be pleased when this game's over, Peter, I should imagine.
Yes, it's pretty hard to keep track of the goal kickers. That's what I've been battling with for the last quarter and a half. I make John Roberts 6 and Smith 5 as the leading goal kickers, as the mark is taken by Thomas in front of Craig Brady, and he'll get a 15-metre penalty too from umpire Jeff Morrow. He decides to play on, looks for the handball. That's successful. Back it comes to Bennett. Bennett's kick up towards left half forward. Is that a mark to Big Talbot? It is. The umpire has paid it. Had a mammoth job in the ruck all day. Swans fans and officials very pleased with that, I'm sure, especially with Barry Round out against Rhys-Jones for a push in the back. It will be taken by Bennett. Bennett has the free kick at the left half-back flank. And the 15-metre penalty again applied by the umpire brings Bennett up to the centre wing. It's at half forward, middle miss. Almost completed it on the second grab. Long handball was by Danaher. Hounsell. Fashini. Almost caught by Fiddler. The short pass intended for Roberts, but Breen is in front. He'll remember game 299. He'll hope 300th is better. Cox. Fiddler missed it. Backing up is Keel. Got grabbed when he didn't have the ball. It will be a free kick to Keel. He will take it at the right half-back flank. Started off in very good form. He was probably best on the ground in the first quarter, but got put right out of business after that. Right. A very good game from him too. Evans And he's done well since he came back onto the field. He got a knock in the first term. He's looking for a 15-metre penalty, but umpire Dargable not having anything of it. Browning. Swans players are running loose everywhere. Very poor performance by the St Kilda defenders, and Browning has a shot at goal and has made no mistake, and that's his first for the afternoon. 30 goals, 18, 198. You don't often see 30 goals kicked in VFL football. St Kilda 15-13, 103.
About the only two guys that haven't scored goals are Carter and Ackley.
That's about right.
Everyone's having a shot. Oh, they're doing them. They're not as good as this. St Kilda are just pathetic, Bob. I wouldn't care what you say about the Swans. By golly, they'd have to be swabbed if they've improved that much. Well, we're back to the centre now, and we're right on the 30-minute mark of this last quarter, and the siren just about due to go, I would say. Knocked out by Torban again. Rhys-Jones goes through the pack, gets clear the second time while the St Kilda side stand back and watch him drive it up there towards the full forward position. And there's a mark taken by Barry Breen in defence at full back. Barry Breen with the ball down there towards the back pocket position. Ball comes out towards St Kilda's half back line. Flying high was Booth that time, couldn't hold the mark. But the umpire's found a free kick. It'll go to Rhys-Jones.
That pleases the crowd.
Short pass. It's okay, and Smith's got it again. Well, I think he's taken about 12 or 13 marks. I don't know how many hand passes he's had. He's had about 20-odd kicks. 10th mark, about 22 kicks, and I would say plenty of hand passes too. 12 hand passes. That's not a bad sort of an effort. There's the kick by Smith that may have been touched right on the line. So we see the Swans moving on to 30 goals. 19, 199. They only want one more point for the 200, the double century. 15-13 to St Kilda. Ball back out there towards the half back line. 31 minutes gone, I would say, on the as the ball is finally kicked out of bounds. Still on the Swans half forward line. Getting very dark here. We're very lucky to have these magnificent lights at the Sydney Cricket. This is possibly the, I wouldn't be sure about this, but I think the Swans have passed their highest score ever, Bob. Apparently they're